Okay, and we're live. Well, at least I believe we're live. If you're seeing this, then please let us know kind of in the chat room where you're gaming in from. This is the hashtag Reinventing Drawing Group Sunday edition with Jason Leeser. And we're excited if you are an artist, or even if you're just a collector, download the Reinventing the Tattoo app. It's in the Apple Store, it might be in the Android store by now. Or you could go to community.reinventingthetattoo.com on your browser, and you can go to the events, and then you'll be seeing the dedicated page to watch us, but you'll also be able to get the Zoom link. So if you're an artist, then we encourage you to beam in, and yeah, everyone gets to create art together. That's what these reinventing drawing groups are about. And then if you post your artwork, hashtag reinventing drawing group, then everybody that gets to watch these gets to kind of see the product out on the everywhere. So while this is uh, streaming across the different Facebooks and YouTubes, and we're making sure that it's working, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about some of the upcoming events and the routine events that we have. And it looks like this is going out on the YouTubes, and the Facebooks would be next. You could find, if you just do a search for Reinventing the Tattoo, and then or Jason Leeser, then you will find both all of us. Okay, so upcoming event. So this is the Reinventing Drawing Group for Thursdays. We're planning on doing this every Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern, if you care. Sometimes we do it even if you don't. Tonight is at 9 o'clock, so this is Sunday. Well, it's just tonight, and if you're not watching this today, then you can watch the replay. Nick Baxter is leading the art jam, and it'll be based on landscapes. And Nick is an amazing painter. His surrealistic stuff is out of control, great, but also his landscapes are amazing. His art website is nbaxter.com, and you can check out all of his original artwork right there. And he'll be again tonight, 9 o'clock. And people who know Nick's work are definitely not going to want to miss it. And if you don't know his work, you still don't want to miss it. You just don't know what you might be missing. Okay, Mondays are a crazy day here at Reinventing. We've got in the mornings at 9 o'clock the hashtag Reinventing Drawing Groups. It's with Jake Meeks from the Fireside Tattoo Network every Monday morning at 9 o'clock. We have a real good, strong crew of people who come out and they draw and they watch and they kind of tune in the background. And it's awesome to kind of like tune in and listen to. But also, if you are an artist, we also want to encourage you to join in. It's if you've got tattoo homework that you're doing anyways, you might as well point your camera at it and join the group. So it's 9 o'clock on Mondays. Pretty much every Monday at noon. Most Mondays, Mark from Needle Jig has Let's Talk Tattoo, a couple of amazing interviews up, and he'll be doing some tours and talking technical stuff. He's a good product designer kind of a guy, pretty awesome brain. And then Monday nights, always we have Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo subscribers exercise, where all of the Reinventing the Tattoo subscribers get together and do an exercise led by Guy and or some amazing guests. This is the time where we say, please subscribe to Reinventing the Tattoo for a pretty reasonable price. You get access to these Monday morning live exercises with Guy, and I have to tell you, these, compared to the access that you get to other experts in other industries, maybe once a month or twice a month, once a week, to be able to draw with Guy and the whole crew, it's pretty amazing. So reinventingthetattoo.com to get a subscription, or in the app you can download the app and there'll be a subscribe button. Okay, these free streams are brought to you in part by our sponsors, inkjetstencils.com. If you're a tattooer and you use computers to make your reference for your tattoos, then you can print out the stencil straight from an inkjet printer. If you want samples, then you can contact us. Contact me, Gabe at tattoonow.com, with inkjet stencils in the title. And if you have an image that you send over, then we can have a stencil delivered. Obviously, we need to do this for a tattoo that you have, well in advance to try out. But inkjetstencils.com will get you more info. Andre Malcolm has been using it. He just printed out a back piece, which was pretty out of control. You could check out the video in the Reinventing app or community. Okay, and then Cheyenne Tattoo Equipment has a machine up for raffle. Tattooeducation.com/giveaways. Sorry, just giveaway. Tattooeducation.com/giveaway. It is a vetting form, so we're not just giving away a tattoo machine to anybody. But even if you are already on the Tattoo Education vetted list, please fill it out again so that we know that you're interested in the Cheyenne tattoo machine. It's like over $700 US. Solterra with a grip, pretty awesome giveaway. So I'm going to hand it over to Jason because it looks like everything is working. So please let us know in the chat room where you're beaming in from. If you're looking to get the link to beam in, let us know. And yeah, thanks again for watching. Um, sorry if I missed anything. So
Cool. Hey,
Jason,
guys.
take it away.
Gabe, thanks as always. How's everyone doing? My name is Jason. Um, some of you may know me from the Reinventing drawing groups and the Monday morning groups with Jake Meeks. I tend to be pretty vocal during those groups just because I have a lot of questions and a lot of comments and stuff like that. Today's group is going to be pretty freeform. If you guys have any questions at any time, feel free to ask. If you want to jump in, if you want to, make a comment about something, if you want some advice on anything, um, you know, feel free to ask. Any and all questions are more than welcome. Um, it's pretty freeform. It's more of an open discussion than anything else. Uh, oh, look, we got a couple of awesome people. Bruno and Patrick have joined. That's awesome. How's it going, guys? Um, yeah, I'm just going to be doodling on this snake, trying to work out some ideas and drafts for a side piece. Um, I'm just basically here doodling away. If anyone feels like joining in, you're more than welcome to. I know it is Sunday and there are definitely some sports people out there. So, it's definitely a big sports day, but I've never really been a sports guy. So, I'd rather jump into a drawing group. As I mentioned before, like I'm just working on, getting this side piece drawn up. Underlying photo. Let's see if we can get rid of all this. So basic stock photo of the person's side that, I wanted to work on. And so we'll go through. That's the final line drawing that I have up here. I started out, if anyone's curious as far as the process goes, I always try to start out with general ideas and shapes and references and stuff like that. This whole snake was drawn using one of the brush sets from Tattoo Smart. I'm kind of embarrassed to say I'm pretty sure I've purchased every single one of those sets. Um, you know, it's uh, it's they're useful tools that I found that can be really helpful. And I've got all kinds of them. I've got the watercolor set, Japanese by Russ Abbott, Dharma, Technomech, Spit Shade, ornamentals, literally you name it. I've probably got it. I don't really know how much money I've spent in Procreate brushes, but they do come in really handy. Uh, Perfect example, if I wanted to go back through and, draw this snake body again, we'll get rid of some of these layers, maybe add another one. I always like to do my drafts in a bright red. I just find it's easier to draw over top of it, even though I do lower the opacity anyway. I usually alternate between two different brushes, between the Supreme Serpent and Ultimate Serpent. If I'm looking for more of a wireframe, I'll go with the Ultimate. And I always draw from the tip of the tail up to the head. And it's pretty interesting to see the way that it goes based on the size and all that stuff. It can give you a pretty quick layout. That seemed a little bit small. So say I just wanted to do a pure snake side piece, boom, right there. There's my wireframe. From there, I would go through and kind of refine it just using like a sketch pencil. And I like this inking brush set that I have laid out just because I try to keep all of my standard ones there. Stipples and dots and circle brushes that I got for free off of one of the Procreate forums. Someone posted up a hollow circle brush. And I was like, ooh, that'll come in handy. But the Perfect Sketcher by Russ Abbott is phenomenal for doing the overlays. Oh, is that Guy?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going, guy?
Going. I don't have any drawings to do right now, so I'm working on this painting. I'm collaborating
Awesome.
with Killian Moon on,
Oh,
and I
wow.
figured I'd just what I was doing last night. And what I'm trying to do is just kind of tweak the values to create that depth of field. So right now it's just sort of a big depth of field exercise.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Got a gloss coat on it right now so that the work that I'm about to do isn't going to scuff off what I did last night, but that also means that you're probably getting a lot of glare looking at it.
Not so much. Not as much as you would think. That's incredible.
Thanks, man. So are you doing a layout for a tattoo you're going to actually be doing?
Yep. Well,
Nice.
if all goes well and, they approve the design, which I'm sure they will, but
Right.
I always like to allow the client to have a little bit of input, just for their own sake.
Yeah, I mean, I think for a lot of them, even if they don't make any substantial kind of changes or anything like that, just to have a feeling that they had something to do with it.
Yeah, hand in the process somewhere so that it's not just, okay, come up with whatever you want.
Right. Yep. And, sometimes I kind of insist on that. I mean, unless somebody has come to me with very clear signals that there's a certain kind of piece that they want, I usually want to have some kind of could you at least tell me the favorite pieces of mine that you've done, that I've done, or something along those lines, so I get a sense of their taste. Because just do whatever you want is fairly open. It's a little intimidating, actually.
Yeah, I was actually talking to one of my personal heroes the other day. I went by and did a studio visit with him. Turns out his studio is 10 minutes away from where I live, so that was kind of awesome.
Who's this?
A guy by the name of Brian Donovan.
Okay.
He works at Davidian Tattoo in Hatboro, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Phenomenal artist and illustrator. Definitely comes from a very illustrative background. Originally wanted to be a comic book artist and was trained in that kind of a way. And I was talking to him about the same thing. It's like sometimes it's not good when you have too much freedom. It's when someone comes in and says, hey, here's an area, do whatever you want. It's like, I struggle with that a lot. Give me a little bit of direction. If you're looking for a specific subject matter or a specific style, specific color palette, or if you already have a theme going that you want to add on to, give me a direction to run in and I'll start running. But otherwise, I find it almost overwhelming to just go through and come up with, whatever they are looking for.
Yeah, because, when someone tells me that, I'm thinking that they've probably seen something of mine and they're hoping that by saying that's what they'll get. And
Right.
That's not how that works, We really do need more input than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember studying some of the works that you did many years ago. In fact, it was one of the ways I made it through college. I would always show up with a copy of Organica, at my side in my backpack every time I went to my painting class, and would sit down with the professor and say, okay, help me break this down. What am I missing here? And having them go through and just say, this guy's a tattooer. It's like, yeah. And they're like, this is incredible work. And having them sit down and just say, okay, look at the color palette he's using, analyze that, look at, the shapes and the textures and the light. And then I picked up my first copy of Reinventing the Tattoo, the first generation, first edition.
Oh, yeah.
And, when you went through and explained a lot of that, it was just mind blowing. I think I got more out of that first copy than I did in quite a few years of art school.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a flattering thing to hear. I never went to art school, but I've talked to a lot of people who have, and I am familiar with a lot of things that do get covered there. And, my wife went briefly. Well, when I say briefly, she went for a few years, but just wasn't able to afford to keep going back then. And, a lot of it is just trying to develop, and it doesn't work a lot of the time, trying to develop good art habits or studio habits. And, a lot of being a successful artist are things like that, just making sure that you've got a setup that works for you, and that you're organized in your thinking, and that you know your own psychology, and that what works for you. It's a thing that takes a lot of experience. It takes that 10,000 hours. So if the school is going to cause you to do that 10,000 hours of exploration, then great. If it's going to provide guidance during that, then great. But I've known a lot of people who went to art school and then they were kind of done with art after that.
Right. Yeah, my biggest struggle was always just technique and technical ability. And that's, what I was hoping to get out of going to art school. And, I'm not saying it wasn't worth it. It definitely taught me certain things. Things such as maybe doing a rough acrylic underpainting before you do a layer of oils over top of it. Just kind of block in forms and values to get a rough idea of, what shapes are there and what tones, what values and what hues to use, and then refining it as you're doing your oil painting.
Right. But do you really need a whole semester of classes to realize that an acrylic underpainting could be helpful,
Right.
That's the thing about hanging around with other artists is, you'll just encounter these ideas.
Right. But that's something that I had never thought. I always thought that, oh, well, if you're going to paint in oils, it has to be only oils. And then they kind of explained it to me and said, well, yes, but the gesso that you put on your canvas is acrylic based.
Right. Exactly.
And it blew my mind. It's something I had never even thought of. So I did get some useful information out of going to art school, but a lot of just the technique and the form and the value. And even brush control was never really taught. That's something I had to pick up over time.
Yeah. And it's hard to teach some of that stuff. I think that some of these things are transferable, and I do like the idea of eventually, for my own good, just taking a couple courses with some of the artists I follow online, because, I follow a lot of different styles of art, and some of these people, I just like their brushwork so much. I would like to, at least peek inside their head a little bit. So that is on my kind of list of things to do. But, nowadays you can have direct access to some pretty incredible artists that are just teaching this stuff without, having to go to art school. And you can kind of cut through a lot of the BS. Although that whole thing of developing good art habits and making the right kind of lifestyle, I don't know how much of that got taught in art school either. I obviously wasn't there for it, so I can't say.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Coming from experience, that was never on the forefront of any of my professors' minds. I had a lot of adjunct faculty members, so a lot of part-time professors and things of that nature. And I think that's kind of where things might have gone a little south, just because it's not that they weren't fully invested in education. It's that they didn't know if they were going to be back again.
Right. Yeah.
So why should they really put all of that focus into teaching something when you never know if you're going to see your students again? So,
So what exactly is an adjunct teaching role like? What does that consist of?
It's basically a short-term contract where you get contracted to teach a very specific class using a predetermined curriculum and basically a predetermined course structure. and you're contracted to teach that class for that one single semester. And depending on your performance reviews and your student reviews and everything of that nature, they may invite you back to teach another class at another point in time, but it's not a guarantee. Tenure track faculty members are pretty much contracted for, I want to say, the rest of their career to teach varying classes on a subject matter for an extended duration of time. So they know they're coming back. And when you have adjunct faculty that don't know where they're going to work next semester, it causes a little bit of detachment.
Yes, I could see that. Yeah, unfortunate.
Yes.
But I can also understand how the schools would need that flexibility, because they don't know which courses are going to be well attended and going to be actually financially worth continuing to do.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And coming from a business perspective, which higher education, I don't care where you go, higher education is a business.
Yeah.
There's no getting around it. Even the public higher education systems are there to make money. And, I understand that aspect behind it, but when it starts to compromise the quality of education, I think that's where people need to take a step back and take a second look at what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, there are certain things that really should not be for profit. Of course, in general education, there's lots of things that, we artists should be allowed to profit off of teaching people, right? But like public education, there needs to be, your sort of basic, like the filter everybody has to go through, when that is a for-profit thing, it often can get messy and people are in it for the wrong reasons.
So we have Patrick Boothman is beamed in.
All right, Patrick, welcome.
Hey, Patrick.
Oh, maybe his audio is off, but his video is on. I don't know if he could hear us.
I'm drawing a cat. This is the one I'm drawing.
Oh, wait, we get farther into it.
Oh, yep, he can hear us. Hello.
Show my stepfront says.
Your audio is off. I don't know
We're still
what.
listening to the video time,
Okay,
right?
I'll just draw it.
Yeah.
I don't know why or how, but your audio is off.
Around
Maybe
back
it's
to
being used by another application. But
Honestly,
we can see it.
you took my chair kind of apart.
I'm not even seeing the microphone here on this side, Patrick, so I'm not sure if you want to get into the settings and find your audio. Sometimes if you quit out of other applications, maybe something else has control of your microphone. That's why it's not even showing up here. Oh, there we go. Connecting to audio.
You got that all right?
So the other thing you might be able to do, I know that you were getting your camera right. So now we have audio, you're just off.
Hey, you're going.
We're almost there. So the other thing you might be able to do, I know that you were getting. Okay, so now I'm going to mute you because in the background you have it playing so that it's going to do the horrible echo. So if you shut it off in the background, then I'll turn your mic back on. Okay. Yeah, you have it going on somewhere in the background. Or if you put on headphones.
Yes.
I'm going to spotlight you for a little bit there, Jason.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, just doodling around right now.
There's so Bruno, as you were saying, Bruno's headed to the studio, but we also have Julie's beaming in from Colombia.
Nice.
Oh, hey.
What's going on?
We got Frank Cudia says super cool. Got a bunch of thumbs up and supers from names that are hard for me to pronounce because I don't know other languages. Um, but,
So
you know,
is
if you
that a
want to,
Tattoo Smart tool that you're using there? Or-
Yeah, I've got quite a few of them. Yeah, so I was just using one of Procreate's built-in basic inkers. It's like a technical pen, and I have it set up for half streamline just to get rid of some little jitters and whatnot.
Mhm.
Probably going to switch over to their spit shade set, which I've been playing around with a lot lately. And I really kind of like it. It's got some really interesting, really nice features just for doing quick mock-ups of varying color, and, you know, just getting values down. One other trick that I picked up was actually creating the reference layer. So anytime you go through and say I only wanted to color there, here, and say over here, well, those sections are automatically selected using that reference layer. And now if I go through and I decide to paint,
It's only going to paint inside those lines. Yeah, that's
right.
really handy.
It's kind of like the magic wand tool in Photoshop.
Right. It just it gives you a layer that's sort of like a predetermined selection, and of course that layer also could have gradients, etc. in it. Which,
Right. Gradient maps,
yeah.
all types of different fun things.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that.
I found that ever since I switched over to using my iPad a lot more often, it's almost like I don't even use I don't even really use Photoshop anywhere near as much as I thought I would. I'll still use it every now and then for different things, but it's just not, it's not quite as important as I think it once was.
Right. Yeah, you can easily live without it these days.
so I've got a question in here from BZ Yo. May I ask what y'all's opinion on traditional flash painting being used on the iPad? I've had multiple people hate it and others love it. I paint by hand and just started using the iPad version. I would love y'all's perspective.
Ooh, good one. So
Okay, I actually have an opinion on this, and I think that it really depends on what your finished result is meant to be. If you want to hang it on a wall, then there's nothing like an original piece of real art. You know what I mean? If it's going to be distributed digitally or seen mostly digitally, you're not really losing anything using these tools, because it's really going to only be seen digitally. So I know that doesn't really break down to the heart and soul of whether it's cheating or whether it's like real art, but I don't think those things even matter. They're tools. But when it comes to like having a piece of original art hanging on the wall, it really is nothing like real paint.
it's almost exactly what I was going to say. It all depends on what your final objective is going to be. I think there are a lot of people out there that are creating unbelievable digital art, using the tools that they have available. But at the end of the day, it's just another tool in your toolbox.
Yep.
To me, if you can't do something by hand, and if you can't do something with a brush and a pen and a pencil, then should you really be doing it with an iPad or with digital media?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I think that you lose something if you don't learn the analog way of doing it. People that just go straight to digital, and of course, that's going to be more and more artists. Art supplies. You have to buy your iPad and whatever tools you're using on it, but you're not going to run out of art supplies. You can do a million drawings. So I mean, there's so many advantages that it's just hard to imagine that it wouldn't be more and more normal. And so, in some ways we have to accept it. And I actually think that there'll come a time where those of us who use real paint, that it'll really actually be seen as a special skill. A lot of artists are going to be intimidated by it.
I can see that. I just kind of view it as another tool in the toolbox. I think it's great for, mock-ups and layouts, design, but when it comes down to actual painting, You know, say even just a piece of flash. To me, I want to do that by hand. I want to be able to go through and really get the feel of the paper, know when to dip the brush, when to go through and, okay, how am I going to tease this black out a little bit more? And could I go through and, you know, get the settings right on the iPad and get everything tuned up as far as that's considered? Yeah, it might take a little bit of time, but to me, it's not going to have the same feeling. It's not going to have the same aesthetic, you know, kind of look. And I do a lot of digital art. You know, I love digital art. I've been working digitally for quite a long time. But I always try to work by hand alongside that, just because there are certain things that I don't think you really get to capture. You know, those tiny little flaws that might be in paintings that actually make it done by hand. You're not going to be able to see that if something's digital.
Well, although these days, I mean, they're really making it less and less distinguishable. You can kind of engineer in those flaws. Here's another thing that I would have to say about that is, as an artist, you have to ask yourself what you enjoy more and what inspires you, and you know, not be so lost in the idea of the results that you forget about the process, because the process is really where the magic happens. And so if using digital tools is a thing that empowers you in a way that you're able to do more than you can in analog tools, then there's your answer. If you just don't find it interesting, or the fact that it's pixels makes it less exciting to you, then there's your answer. You know, I'm the kind of person that the digital art that I do is always a reference for something that I plan on doing on skin or canvas analog. But I'm using the tools to, you know, expand what I'm capable of with my vocabulary. But I still ultimately, at the end of the day, have to have the skills to actually paint it. And in this era of more and more impressive looking digital paintings, being able to do it with, you know, hairs, you know, glued to the end of a stick is going to be more and more like a superpower.
I love that analogy.
You know how it is when you're looking at art online, and I follow a lot of art, and I love fantasy and sci-fi art, and I have since I was a kid, and I've always followed those genres, right? And so the stuff you see in those genres right now is just more mind-boggling than ever, and there's tons of it, right? And lots of names, really good names that you're like, whoa, I haven't heard of this person before. And you know, any of them, if you were to put a brush in their hand and say, okay, now do the same thing with paint, they'd probably still do a really nice painting. But to get the same results that they had with their digital work, first they'd have to do it digitally and project it, and then spend months and months where in their iPad, it took them maybe days. So there's lots and lots of reasons for using digital tools, that's for sure. And I don't think that there's a right or wrong behind it.
Yeah, I was just watching something on Netflix the other day that was all about if there was another planet out there, and some of the three-dimensional graphics that they were creating and some of the things that they had going on in that were absolutely mind-blowing. You know, 3D modeling and 3D sculpting is becoming such a fine art that, you know, it's I never thought it would get to that point.
A very long time.
Yeah, well, and it's crazy. So my daughter is here in the room, and she really wants me to show you guys the stage of her drawing. She's just getting started, and she likes people to see the just getting started stage.
It's
So
really
awesome.
stylized because I'm not using a reference.
Bravo. Bravo.
she's got cats on the brain right now because we've had cats fighting all around our house. It's been lovely.
So I've got questions in the chat room, and maybe we could try to. But first, let's try to bring Patrick back in with the
Okay,
audio.
we've got another try with the microphone.
Yeah, I'm going to ask to unmute.
How's that?
There we
A
go.
million
Yeah,
times
there's the
better.
voice.
Oh,
Hey,
wow.
Patrick.
Awesome. Hiya. How are you doing?
Hello, hello.
Very well. Yeah, so my name is Patrick. I'm joining you from West Wales, United Kingdom. It's 6:35 in the evening over here. In Wales, we've just last night been told that we are heading back into lockdown.
Oh,
So I was going to be tattooing Monday and Tuesday this week, but that's not going to happen. Yeah, and I joined Reinventing the Tattoo to learn from the best, and yeah, just get as much information as possible. And yeah, it's looking like I might be tuning in and taking part in a few more exercises over the next, who knows, 4 or 5 weeks or so. No one knows how long it's going to
Yeah.
carry on.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we've really ramped up the participatory, things that we're doing like this. Is we know that people are just crawling out of their skin to do something.
Yeah.
And yeah, Wales. I'm 1/4 Welsh. I've never been there.
All right. No, well, it's not all it's cracked up to be. It's a beautiful place, but yeah, yeah, no, it's really nice. I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, it was. I remember Neil put on a tattoo convention there. Must have been over 10 years ago now, and right there on somewhere on the water in Wales. It was the first edition of the Tea Party. Maybe I'm not exactly sure which one it was. It was in 2007 or 2008. And I remember Bez was there and Alex DePasse. It was an amazing convention and a beautiful, beautiful Welsh town, right?
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah. Possibly. Yeah. No, I've been tattooing legally for probably only 3 years, and so a lot of things that happened before that, I sort of wouldn't know that much
You're just
about.
getting up to speed with the recent history.
Yeah.
Tattooing is treating you pretty well so far.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no problems. Well, I mean, yeah, obviously a few, but yeah, and like after our lockdown, we finished back in August, and so the run up from August to December, yeah, it's been sort of really busy time. We've not had we've had obviously restrictions put upon us by the Welsh Assembly government, but we've adhered to those and had very little problems, very little interference. We've just been able to get on with it. And the run up to Christmas, I think a lot of people decided that, okay, this year's a year that I'm going to have a tattoo. In light of everything that's been going on with COVID, people have, sort of,
Losing their minds. Yeah. And I think that tattooing is funny that way. The same thing happened. We had this 2008 financial crisis, and tattooers looked at each other when that first went down and said, "Oh no, we're super non-essential. We're going to starve." And that's not what happened. That's not at all what happened. People are like, as soon as I got a little money, I'm going to get something that I can't lose or have repossessed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, that's what we offer, isn't it? And also that, I think with people being locked up, a lot of people are missing out on that personal interaction, and they choose you as an artist to sort of come and see and spend, quality time with, discussing things and what have you. So yeah, we offer a lot to people.
Yeah, and the idea of what is essential or non-essential, that's definitely been put to the test. A certain amount of rewarding ourselves, a certain amount of entertainment, a certain amount of just enjoyment. These things are essential, right? And I think that's one of the reasons there's been so much pushback against restrictions, even though, you know, a lot of these restrictions are well intended. I think a lot of it has been implemented in a way that just doesn't address people's humanity and, you know, our need for these very human things. And yeah, it's a very tough pill for people to swallow.
Yeah, yep. And the other thing is, like, you know, in the UK anyway, the economy is sort of struggling, and it sort of highlights that, okay, we are all essential workers. You know, if we're not working, we're not buying the goods, we're not supporting everything else. I'm not saying that's ideal, but you know, we're all meshing together.
Yes, I think the trick really is to just try to figure out the safe way of doing it. And, you know, we have an advantage there because tattooers have historically always had a little bit of pressure on us to prove ourselves, you know, like, yeah, they could easily shut us down. We're not restaurants. We're not, you know, necessary for the economy. Although people sure, you know, might not agree with that. But because of that, we've had to really prove ourselves and not be a source of problems and self-regulate, self-police. You know, conventions for a long time have I'm not sure how it is these days. I haven't been to one in a while, but it you know, had become kind of a known thing that you weren't going to get a booth in the reputable shows if you didn't have, you know, the health certifications and that kind of thing. And so we've always had this ability to step up to the plate at times like this. And so we're probably some of the safer places to be right now.
Oh, definitely. You know, I mean, in the UK, you know, I think a lot of the staff in the supermarkets are, you know, sort of, they're just like battle weary. And, you know, they've been trying to socially distance people from, you know, standing too close to each other in the aisle for just so long now. And everyone's just getting a bit tired and fed up. Whereas, you know, you can go into a studio and, you know, there'll be you and your client, appointment only, you know, come in, take temperature, wash your hands, you know, and super safe in comparison, you know. Yeah, so yeah, like you are very definitely right. You know, we step up to the mark and, you know, do as good as possible for, you know, our clients. Yeah.
So I do have. Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yep.
I have a couple more questions and stuff in the comments. This is off of the Guyachison Facebook page. Okay, we've got Jay Brown says, "Awesome to see. Love the painting guy."
Right on. This is myself and Killian Moon doing this.
Right. Let's see. Stefan Henderson says, "What's something to practice or to study to better, brighter colors in your art and tattooing? Like Guy's painting is giving that depth, and that Guy and Killian painting is giving that depth and pop with the colors. By the way, you guys are amazing."
Well, the best thing I could say, thank you, by the way, the best thing I could say is that practice in general is going to get you there more than any other trick. You know, there's not really a trick, but, you know, for example, you know, later tonight, we've got Nick Baxter, and he's no doubt going to talk in detail about color. And this is a, you know, a free thing. So, you know, there's lots of stuff like that with very reputable, good artists that you can sit in with. So, you know, we've been trying to have a minimum of 2 paint activities a month, and ultimately there's going to be more than that. But then, of course, there's, if you're willing to pay, there's lots of artists, you know, many that I follow who have tutorials, and you know, each one of them is going to have something different to teach you. And then, of course, you have to take all that input and then bring it back into your studio and do the practice and do the work. So yeah, it's there's not any one answer to that. You're in the right place though. All right, now daughter wants to show her current stage. She is now deep into shading and
Awesome.
combining
And,
color
uh,
pencils to get
There's also a
rough
comment coming in from the chat room. It's Bruno says it's great start, Kay. Love
okay,
the cat.
okay. Bruno is the guy that taught you Spanish.
I mean, let's see. We've got another comment here. A BZ Yo. I've definitely felt the savings cost on art supplies, especially arches, and I agree with y'all's perspective. A handmade piece does do wonders, and there is that human proportion I've noticed with hand painting. And there is that portion I've noticed with hand painted to digital, and absolutely just another tool in the toolbox. I'm actually going back to school to take some more art classes to grow as an artist. Thank you for taking your time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
let's see.
here's another comparison for you. Another analogy is, imagine a piece of music that someone who does not know how to play a musical instrument writes a really great piece of music, right? And of course, it's amazing that these days, like if I thought of an amazing piece of music, I could figure out. Yeah, well, I could ask my daughter who knows how to play piano, but I could figure out the software and I could record the song and make a hit, right? Without even knowing how to play any musical instrument. And people, if it's a great song, people love the song. But it's still not the same as when you're watching a live performance with people playing actual instruments that you yourself couldn't play in a million years. You know what I mean? When I see people who are amazing at guitar, it is a superpower to me, right? I'm very impressed by that. And it's not to say that the music might move me more because it's an actual instrument that requires virtuosity to play, but there is a part of me as a human being that recognizes the virtuosity and is impressed by it. So I mean, I think we appreciate music on different levels, just like any other art form. You're going to appreciate the message, you're going to appreciate the composition, you're going to appreciate how it moves you or doesn't move you. But if there's also some kind of technical virtuosity going on there, that's an additional facet of it that you can appreciate.
Back to gallery mode here. So this is a good reminder that if anybody is drawing along, to tag it hashtag Reinventing Drawing Group, whether you're in the Facebook, Instagrams, YouTube spheres, wherever, and also head to your app store. It's the Reinventing the Tattoo app is definitely up in the app on the Apple store, and if it's not on the Android store, it will be very soon.
And
I
it's
think
free.
we said the word Reinventing the Tattoo too many times in the description.
Yes,
So
it is a free app, and it's going to give you much easier access to all these activities, plus lots of other features, notifications of things that you want to attend so you don't forget. You can sign up and say that you're coming to something and you'll get those notifications. And much, much more.
I was going to say that app is incredible. It's like the perfect centralized location for everything.
It had to happen,
Do you know I made the hub design?
Oh yeah, my daughter is wanting to let everybody know that the button for the hub was a design that she came up with, although Sandy did the final pass on the graphics. But yeah, it was tricky coming up with buttons, I'll tell you what.
Well, thank you.
And then, yeah, we've got a pretty good week coming up, even though, I mean, it's Christmas week. Obviously, we're going to have some days off. But yeah, obviously, tonight we got Nick, which I'm psyched about. I always love hanging with Nick. And he's just such a intelligent, artist. He really knows how to articulate what he's up to and what he means and what he's trying, and, a thoughtful individual. And then, tomorrow is going to be there's a few things on Monday. I know that I've got my exercise. We're doing our fifth installment in our Elemental Flow series. This one will be on geology, geological forms. And that'll be 9 o'clock tomorrow night. But I know we've got other things Monday. I think that that's when Needle Jig does their thing on Mondays.
Yeah, they're doing their Let's Talk Tattoo happens at noon, and then every Monday morning at 9 in the morning Eastern,
Oh, right,
bright
yeah.
and is the other Reinventing Drawing group, or hashtag Reinventing Drawing group, led by Jake Meeks.
Yeah. And so in Wales, that's actually pretty good timing.
Yeah, that's 2 p.m. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
just after lunch. Yeah, no, looking forward to that. It'll be good. I always enjoy listening to Jake. He's one of those people that I have sort of gone through all his podcasts, and I listen to him a lot on whilst I'm out running. You know, if I'm just doing like a slow run, I'll put the earphones in and listen to the podcast. So I've got now some sort of mental association with going for a run and hearing all about tattooing in the southern states of the US,
Nice.
wherever it is. Is it Memphis?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in Memphis.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, and it was through tattooing the Fireside podcast that I sort of got onto the reinventing, and then
Oh, nice.
this, that, and the other. Yeah, and there's the interview with Gabe on there as well. It's back in history quite a bit, but
Oh, from the Venetian Tattoo Gathering.
that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
quite
want to go
enjoyed
back.
You it was quite good. I remember listening, and one of the things you said was, I don't suffer fools easily. And it's like, okay, right, that's that stuck in my and now you're doing this.
Well, yeah, no, I was going to say it's funny to hear that in retrospect, because I probably suffered fools a little too much, but I also, myself included, things go pretty fast, and that was a very fun place and time. I do talk to Alex about returning there and getting back to that palace, and there's tattooing it's amazing to be able to set up inspirational events and places that they're all pilgrimages, and I got to spend a month in Venice leading up to that, which was I could die happy because my daughter is way better off than I am, but after that trip. I was just like, okay, everything from here on out is gravy.
Yeah.
Jake's awesome though. Yeah, it was fun to have him over there, and he does great interviews. He's not super far from Guy either. I remember looking at the map. We did a road trip out to Guy's.
It's about a 4-hour drive. We used to go down to Memphis to get lasered back before it was, a thing that you could get nearby. And Jake wasn't around at the time. That was way back in the day. But yeah, we have a little bit of history going down to Memphis.
When I took a peek at the map in the app, I was like, holy shit, Jake's like practically right there compared to.
It's almost a casual visit for him to drop by here.
I was gonna say 4 hours is like a snack. Hey, so a couple more questions in from the chat room. Again, pardon my pronunciation. Irizumu Sumo, Guy, are you taking appointments for people like me who are serious?
I am. Yeah. It's very hard for me to know what next spring is going to be like. We're very possibly going to have rolling shutdowns and things like that. So presently, I'm trying to only book things with people who are driving distance, so that there's a little flexibility there. If you're coming from a greater distance than that, we just need to start the conversation, and when things start to calm down and flying is safe and normal again, then we can make those plans. But yeah, typically if you're coming from a distance, I like to do consecutive days, 2 or 3 days in a visit. And so if you're getting a sleeve, for example, you can get it finished in 2 or 3 visits.
Looks sounds like it's your choice on a '90s sleeve cover up.
Ah,
So what's the
nice.
best way? Just to email you through the website or email you
Okay,
directly?
so
Or?
I'm going to give you the email address that I look at. Guiomech, GUYOMECH @gmail.com.
And they're from Wisconsin, so that's certainly
Oh, right.
a
That's not
drive.
too bad. That's not too bad. Let's see. Here's where we're at here. I think we need some kind of a background gradient or something to give it a sense of space. What do you think?
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Mm.
Let's keep going.
Okay, let's see. We've also got some questions for Jason here.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he's got some answers here, but I guess it's good to ask you straight up. Jason, what brushes are you using in Procreate, and how are you setting them so that the shading goes in so smoothly?
So right now I'm just using the spit shade set from Tattoo Smart, and I've got my brush set on Magic Spit Shader. Haven't really changed anything on it. These are pretty much just stock settings. Maybe I'll change the size a little bit here or there, or the opacity, but I'm using that. And then for my blender, I'm just using the spit and image, and it's just allowing me to work, pretty quickly and pretty easily. There's
So I
not
should
a whole
point
lot
out,
of effort that you need.
Russ told me a little bit about that spit shader set. And so what he did was the brush, he actually took real watercolor and, made drops of it on watercolor paper and took very high resolution scans of those. And so when you're working on it, you're getting something that really closely resembles that texture because it is based on actual real spit shading.
Right. I'm just using a stock regular smooth page. I'm not really using any of the watercolor papers right now, but I have used them and it's amazing. It really does mimic, actual watercolor paper, like an Arches 140-pound cold press, which that's my preferred painting surface. So it's nice to have that texture available. Sometimes for quick color mock-ups, though, I'll just go through like I'm doing right now and, just pull up a standard, page or whatever. And then, just do a quick color mock-up, nothing crazy, just to give people an idea of like what can be done. And sometimes I find that it's a little bit easier because I'm not really trying to work on a finished product. I'm just trying to, give them an idea, show
And give
them,
yourself
listen,
an
this is
idea
what
too.
we can do.
Yep. Yeah. Visualization. It doesn't have to be perfect. And in fact, not only is it sometimes not practical to take that time, but I think it's easy to lose some of your inspiration once you've already done the finished piece once.
Right.
I like to leave enough of it unfinished and undecided, you know what I mean? So that there's a little bit of room to explore and discover while doing the actual tattoo.
We also have a request from the chat room to see Patrick's artwork. I don't know. So while we're working maybe on the camera, if there's a way for you to turn it horizontal, then the camera would fill up more. And then if you beamed it right
See what
towards
happens.
your, there we go.
There we go.
And then if you could get it down on the paper, then we'd see, you're very pretty, but we want to see your art.
Yeah. With you. Right. Okie doke. I don't know. Can you see that?
Much better.
Right. Okay. So we've got, the idea was to have like, a strong vertical in there with some sort of complicated pattern at the top of it, and then like a cloudy sort of shape flowing into or interacting with that sort of this mesh here. So I've done, like, if you like a butterfly, what's it called, butterfly net. So that's the idea, is that will be a net, that will be the stick of a net, and then this will be a swarm of bees or butterflies, or not necessarily made up, bite of butterflies, or bees, just made up of like little dots. So
Right, suggesting it.
yeah. So it's like a drawing exercise, if you like. So say, for instance, over here we've got like a cosmic carrot with some what's it called, like smoke coming off that, and then the same sort of thing earlier with like things like palm tree with like a moon around it or something, or wine glass with so just
Oh, you
daisy.
should have joined us. Maybe we need to do another hat game sometime. That's when we were actually randomly pulling scraps of paper out of a hat with words on them, and we get 3 or 4 of those, and we have to make a drawing out of it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing, and I've just, so for the net, I've tried to sort of get the net shape by drawing the grid, and then the actual wire itself might go from there to there to there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Going across like that. So the actual net would be something like that. Yeah. So that's the sort of idea. But then I was drawing it and I was thinking, oh, these little dots are going to go through those holes anyway. There you go. That's what I was doing. And then this can also be made up with, if you like a set of lines, like a set of dots on the lines. So you could express like depth by having the dots either like closer together or like further apart, to give it some sort of volume. So like if on the edge all the dots are very close, then as they get closer in, then we can start spacing those out a bit more to give it, if you like some sort of gradient, some sort of thickness.
All right, it'll give you a sense of perspective that way.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, yeah, it's just, yeah. There you go. We should wait and see. It's a sketch at this stage. Yeah.
We've got Irizumu Sumo says, Patrick, that's crazy good thinking and talent, sir! Exclamation point.
Well, thank
He
you very
also
much.
says, Jason, you're crazy fast at your work.
This is nothing. I'm really not that fast. I'm just kind of playing around right now, just trying to get a feel for certain things and seeing what I like the most.
Yeah, you want to see
but thank
fast? Watch Damon Conklin work.
Yeah.
He's fast. Okay, speaking of fast, all right, here's Kaya's drawing again. What do you think? Do you think that we need a little bit of a darker color in the sky as a gradient of the yellow, or darker with the cat to strengthen the silhouette? I don't know. Looking good though. Nice one. Like the character.
I have some of Nick Baxter's landscapes fired up here. Maybe I should do a little screen share, get people a little tease of some of Nick's landscapes for tonight.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Nick has a couple different things that he paints that are very different from each other, right? So he does his sort of medical atrocity allegory pieces. Symbolism. He's using objects that symbolize things, and often he's symbolizing the decadence of society and things like that. And then he's been just doing these straight up plein air landscapes, and it's a thing that there's a few tattooers that do it, but not many. I mean, I've always wanted to and told myself that I was going to go out and start painting skies, and one of these days I will, but I'm hoping that this is going to just help create a procedure for it. I'd like to kind of have my landscape game down. All right, good job, Kairos. But yeah, I mean, the thing with landscapes is it's just one of those opportunities, like with figure drawing, where you're drawing what you see. And so it's kind of an exercise in seeing. noticing, and you know, what is it that makes this attractive? You know, if you're looking at a landscape and you're like, this is a beautiful landscape, you're not going to record every dot of it, right? You're going to have to narrow it down to the parts of it that stand out to you, the parts of it that notice, you know, like this whole mountainside. I really like this shadow and this highlight because of the way that you know, makes it stand out against the sunset or whatever. And you need to narrow those things down. You have to be a filter. That's the whole idea. And so it is I would assume one of those things that's only going to make us better tattooers, because we learn to see better.
Brian Donovan says, hello, everyone. Just wanted to say I love seeing 3 different but very dynamic artists work. This is great seeing everyone's process. Wait, sorry, there's an exclamation point. This is great seeing everyone's process.
All right.
Thanks, Gabe.
Right on,
Hey, Brian, how's it going?
Glad you could tune in.
Yeah, Brian's pretty local to me, and he's been a constant inspiration over the years, just watching him work and looking at his work, and he's just always inspiring to me. So
Nice.
He's in PA. Brian, if you want to zoom in, the link is right above you. Actually, you know what? I'll just copy and paste it right here. So if you wanted to, you could join in. Not sure how much longer we'll be going, but
I'm actually going to have to hit it real soon, because we're supposed to have a picnic, and it's a gorgeous day out there, but I'm also enjoying myself. So I'm kind of just rolling with it.
Cool. It'll be fun to do these on Sundays. I guess the only, we will need to just coordinate, because sometimes on the odd Sunday I might not be here, but it's definitely, it's a lot of people's day off. So it's almost perfect timing.
Yeah, it also seems like people have been sort of drifting in, and if this happens every Sunday, I could see there being a pretty good accumulation eventually of people that are here.
Absolutely. And there's more people watching now than there were in the beginning.
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah, I don't know how many. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, let me get a couple more comments. Shannon Scalise says, super awesome, guys. Justin Carbarone says, very nice. Kiara Worrell says, yes, absolutely. Oh, but she said that 1 minute ago, so I don't know what.
That might have been something about doing more of these Sunday things.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we'll be on for a little bit longer. We've got another.
I mean, I got plenty of time today, so
Yeah,
the only
cool.
thing I
There's
have
some
left
other,
to do is grocery shop. Oh, and laundry, but
I've so many people are getting sick around here. I've actually finally gotten to the point where I'm going to really consolidate my shopping. You know, I used to go to, you know, that's part of my walk, you know, so I just put on my mask, not touch shit. But yeah, there was 25 people on a friend's hospital shift got admitted with COVID last night. You know, so whatever, 7-8 hour shift, 24 people. Oof. Okay, so Stefan Hendrickson says, I'll be here for sure. Lake Church. Scotty Ryan says, yes, yes, more please. Yeah, and I just sent out the Zoom link to a couple more people, so we'll go on for a little longer today. As long as,
yeah,
again,
I'll
as long as
stay
there's
on
energy and
long
people
as
are chatting.
want to hang out. So to me, it's all good.
Yeah, I've not really been going into the grocery store as much. We've got you know, that you know, pickup option. I think almost everyone is doing that these days, but I kind of like it. You know, it's sort of like one of those things I'll probably keep doing after this is all over with. It is nice to walk in and say, what do they have in the produce section? I still do that now and then.
See, I'm one of those people, when it comes down to produce, I want to actually see it. You know, I want to make sure that I'm getting the fruit that I pick out, you know, as opposed to what someone else grabs.
Yeah, I mean, they're not even thinking in terms of, is this appetizing or not? They're just thinking, you know, got to reduce this pile to the bottom and then get another one. It's a, you know, By and large, like we also get produce delivered by this company called Misfits Market, and it's generally speaking, it's all pretty good. You know, we're happy about it, but it's kind of random. It's kind of random, you know, and of course you have to not mind root vegetables, which I know are not everybody's cup of tea, but it's wintertime, and so you're going to get a lot of those. But that's been great, you know, because it snaps us out of our routines, because it's like, okay, now we suddenly have a bunch of golden beets, so we're going to do something with them, and we're pretty creative in the kitchen, try to be. So that's a welcome challenge.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Bruno, could you turn your phone horizontal, please? That looks awesome, but it'd look even more awesome if we could see more of the camera.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh,
Jump
yeah.
back on this painting.
Ooh.
How are you guys doing?
Oh,
Hey,
doing
Bruno.
great.
That's awesome, dude.
Happy
Yeah.
to join you guys.
How many hours have you got in that so far?
Let's see. Probably like I feel like I worked on this for a couple sessions, like 4 hours each session, something like that. Probably spent about 8 hours on it, because I didn't really plan what I was gonna do. So at first it kind of was like morphing into different things, and until I finally settled for, or decided to start developing like this crown-like thing on the top, and some sort of like decorative like jewelry or something, you know, just kind of.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts, that scarab looking thing. That's really cool.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, I've been meaning to jump back in on this one. Finally getting a little time with the holidays now.
Awesome. Well, thanks for setting up and joining us. You want to let people know how they could find you online?
Sure, yeah. My Instagram is Prismas, like PRISMAS _art. Prismas art.
So
Did you
I
already,
think
did
I
you already
actually
tell
have
us where you're
to.
from? Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, I am gonna have to step away now because it is picnic time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but it's been great hanging with you guys, and
Yeah, likewise.
enjoy the rest of your group. And yeah, I look forward to seeing hopefully all of you later tonight at Nick's thing.
Definitely will.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank
cheers,
you.
everyone.
See you
Cheers.
there.
Jason, did you change your brush set, or is this a new? Justine is asking what brush are you using in Procreate?
So I just hopped back onto the Magic Spit Shader. I realized that for one of my line work areas, for the flower, I went through and accidentally erased, you know, this part of the petal. So I just went back through and grabbed a quick little, I think that was like the round nib medium from the Spit Shade set, and just kind of blocked that in real quick. Now I'm back on the Magic Spit Shader, and yeah, now I'm just gonna continue coloring in. For the blending, I'm just using the spit and image, you know, set all the way up, and it works really well to just blend down into, say I had like another color behind this. So let's say I've got like, let's go with something a little bit more bright, and then we'll just turn this up a little bit more. So say I wanted to blend this down and maybe throw this behind it, right? Because this is a separate layer. So say I wanted to go through and block that in and just do like a really nice fine gradient behind it. I could do that and not have to mess with the other layer. I also layer a lot whenever I do any kind of digital art. And then if I blend this right into the pink, that other pink that I had there, you get a nice silky smooth blend. As far as like your gradients are concerned, works really, really well every time. Sometimes you need to add a little bit more, and that's totally fine, you know, just to get that that nice contrast. And just to make sure it's nice and solid. And sometimes I'll go back through. I always try to work on a tinted canvas. You know, I'll change the color. Instead of being pure white, I'll change that to something a bit more neutral, just so that I can go through and really pull my brights and darks. You know, just like when you're working on any kind of a painting, when you start on a tinted canvas, whether it's a blue, or if you're like Peter Paul Rubens and you're using a gold or a yellow, you know, just to give it a little bit of extra warmth, it can really give it a different characteristic and a different attitude. But I always try to stay pretty neutral, just to help really push those darks and lights. And then
And Jason, do you want to let people know how to find you?
So everyone can find me at Philly Inc. on Instagram. It's all one word, all lowercase. I'll probably throw that up a little bit later, maybe on a splash screen or something like that. You know, it's just, you know, I love Instagram. Unfortunately, I think I'm becoming addicted to it. Just the amount of inspiration that I get from different artists daily is ridiculous. So I'm almost constantly on that. And if anyone ever sends me a message, there's a pretty good chance you'll get a reply. See, look, there's another one. There's another one. You know, as long as I'm not in a live drawing session, I'll reply to you pretty quickly, as long as I'm not elbow deep in a tattoo. It's kind of become a bad habit, but you know, I need to focus a little bit more, or a little bit less on social media and a little bit more on just working on art. You know, it's just something I'm trying to work on for my own betterment. You know, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being on social media a lot. It's just, you know, I probably need to cool it with that a tiny bit in my own life, just because I found it to be taking over way too much time. Yeah, as other people that have reached out to me have found, you know, even if there's something I'm working on that, you know, maybe someone has a question about, or they want, you know, a little bit more in-depth advice or anything like that, I'm always happy to jump on and do like a, you know, a Skype call or FaceTime or whatever. If there's something specific that, you know, maybe I'm doing that you really want to get in depth with, let me know. I'm more than happy to help anyone out with just about anything, except for hiding bodies. That didn't work so well the last time, so don't ask me to help you out with that. But yeah, just about anything else. If it's art related or tattoo related, shoot me a DM, send me an email. More than happy to help anyone out.
BZO says he shared it around to a couple of friends, so thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. I don't know. Getting together with other tattooers and other art people, it's something that I've always loved. My passion in life, believe it or not, is just working at tattoo shows and conventions and just getting to meet and talk to everyone there. Spent a little bit of time traveling to different countries and attending different shows, not even working at them, just attending them, just to meet new people and get different ideas and perspectives on how different people do things in their process. You know, I'm a huge advocate of lifelong learning. So, you know, it ends up being one of those things where I personally believe if you're not learning at least one thing new every day, then you're really wasting your time, because there's always something more to learn. And that's part of the reason why I got involved with Reinventing, was just because, all right, well, everyone's in quarantine, everyone's locked down. I can't really go out and talk to other people or meet too many new people. So you know what, let's see what this is about and let's see how it's going. And you know what? It was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Cheers. Well, hey, thank you for participating and giving it another go. It's
Hey,
amazing to kind of watch the crew evolve and grow. The Somebody recently was asking us, so like, what type of tattooers and reinventing are joining now. It's like just thinking about all the different people in the last year. I mean, obviously it's been going on for people have been getting it forever, but just this last kind of year, and it's crazy because it's younger tattooers, older tattooers, all the different countries, and mostly if somebody wants to get better and is somewhat adequate with a computer. I mean, if anything, the only thing that's happened is it's just more accessible, because of the technology and the fact that people have to dig into the technology, as opposed to before when guy was doing it and computer geeks would beam in from around the world. Now, now it's like regular people can beam in from around the world. It's pretty
yeah, the
amazing to watch.
technology has finally caught up to everything else.
Yeah,
Well, the adoption of the technology has caught up to everything else.
yeah, exactly.
I remember being part of the first Reinventing the Tattoo forum where you had to buy the book and enter the serial number and get
Yeah.
registered and all that stuff. I remember that, and being part of that forum was incredible. There was such a wealth of information and knowledge posted on it. It was ridiculous.
Yep.
And kind of when that started to kind of not really fall apart, but kind of go by the wayside, I think they got hit with a whole bunch of like bots that would just go in there and spam each forum. But once that started to kind of go down, it was like, okay, well, now I need to actually go and talk to people and visit people and learn stuff that way. And that was incredible. I made friends all around the world. I've got a friend of mine in Malaysia who I've been trying to get and coordinate with them to jump on, who does some really awesome, like neo-traditional kind of Japanese inspired work. You just meet people and find friends from all over, and it's just become an amazing community where we can all just share knowledge.
It's pretty nuts. Malaysia's tough because it's the opposite of now, right? So it's like
It's exactly
2:30 in the
12
morning.
hours different than Eastern time. Yeah.
There's
Which I think is crazy, but
the World Tattoo events. Alex Van Dutch does interviews a couple times a month, and he's in Vietnam. So
yeah.
it's we'll do them. It's actually kind of nice. We do them early for me, like 10 o'clock Eastern. It's 10 o'clock at night for him. Europe, it's in the middle of the day. It's there's a little bit of like a window in the mornings where you can almost have everybody kind of be a window where there's like 2 hours where people are awake, either just getting up and awake or just before they go to sleep, or still in Europe. But then all of a sudden, it's you got to pick your windows quick with the other end of the world.
Right. Yeah, I was just talking to someone that's from Australia, and they were 19 hours ahead.
Mm.
And that was just kind of mind blowing to me. I mean, I'm a night owl anyway, so I'll be up until 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, usually just drawing, sketching, painting, getting some concepts down. Started working on some concepts for a back piece that I might toss out to a few people. Just throwing ideas around and making art. And I like the quiet of the very, very, very late night or very early morning, depending on your perspective. So for me, that's kind of always where I've thrived with my creativity. But I was talking to them back and forth, and to me, that whole 19-hour time difference was just insane. I couldn't wrap my mind around that for a little bit.
Yeah, Australia, it was nuts. I did a convention down there, and I was really appreciative of the fact that you could still walk around barefoot and get in all the stores. They just didn't give a fuck. I was like, okay, I can do this. But then they also bounced me from a couple of the bars because of visible tattoos.
Really?
And that was whack. I was like, holy shit, because there's a lot of there's no excuse, right? I guess this was whatever 12 years ago, 10 years ago maybe, but Yeah, we were at the after hours party of the convention, and I watched a bouncer tell Nico and Tony Rommel to stop showing off their tattoos to each other.
Really?
Like at the after hours
Wow.
party of the tattoo convention, just because it was at a bar, and you can't show off your tattoos, biker. It's like the bikers versus the jocks or something, and they don't like the tattoos. I'm sure it's slowly getting better just because of the sheer number of awesome tattoos in Australia. But
I was going to say the Australian scene has been blowing up.
wow, yeah.
There are a ton of just super talented tattooers in Australia now.
Yep.
Not that there weren't always, but the more prevalence it gains, the bigger the scene becomes, and the bigger that the scene becomes, the more amazing tattooers come with it. So there we go. Maybe a little bit more of this pink.
Curtis says, "Greetings from Belgium. 4 a.m. Painting though."
Welcome. Happy to have you aboard, and definitely welcome.
Belgium's awesome. We're actually planning on going. We're gonna have a Reinventing the Tattoo booth at the Brussels Tattoo Convention in November, and we're gonna go all out. Hey, Curtis, if you want to beam in, I'll DM you the. Looks like you got some great paintings there. But yeah, the Brussels Tattoo Convention is going to be full on. We'll do like an art night and beam people in. On Friday, we'll do the Saturday night members party. We'll do maybe a Sunday morning brunch or something. And November, figured maybe by November, I'm hoping to get vaccinated maybe by summer. By November, maybe things are going to be back in order.
Yeah, I'd eventually love to make it out to that show. I think this coming year, though, I'm really going to take advantage of my cousin who lives in Tokyo and try to head out there and visit him. It's been a few years since I've seen him since he moved. So trying to head out, visit him, maybe do a guest spot out there. And if I can coordinate everything right and I can get vaccinated in time and all that stuff, I'd also like to hit Australia.
Yep.
And head down there for rites of passage. And then from there, scoot over to Tokyo, spend a week there, and then come home after that. I mean, obviously everything's up in the air right now as far as, just going through, getting vaccinated and trying to figure out travel plans, what borders are going to be open. From what I understand, Australia is pretty difficult to get into right now because I think last thing I heard, they had 4 confirmed cases of coronavirus, 4 of them.
They want to keep it that way.
Yeah, so you can't blame them. Oh, hey, Paul. All the way from Sweden. Now a couple of hours of slingshot curving. Hey, Paul. Welcome, man. Welcome. Thanks for stopping in.
Hey, Gabe, do you guys have a date for that Rockford convention?
Yes, there is one in July, but we're gonna have to bump that up because there's just no way.
Yeah.
I also have dates for Paradise Artist Retreat at Jiminy Peak, but I'm gonna have to bump that up because it dawned on me maybe the art retreat at Jiminy Peak in October. I mean,
It might just make it. Yeah.
but I don't really want to have anything to do with large. I mean, I just don't. The thing is, if somebody was like, "Hey, Gabe, you want to go to my convention in October?" I guess, like I said November I'd do it. So maybe October. I don't really want to produce be one of the first rounds of shows to be producing, though. It just doesn't. I'm sure they're gonna be packed. Everyone's like dying to go everywhere. But my guess is that we'll push up the.
Right. No, I feel you. Tricky times.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to be responsible for the next super spreader event that gets those numbers way back up. Can only imagine what kind of a liability that would be.
Oof.
It's where you have the artists that are attending sign a waiver just so that they can work at the show. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy times we live in right now for obvious reasons, but you know, still, I never thought, you know, this would ever happen. So,
Yeah. So unreal. So this is when truth is stranger than fiction, right?
right?
Yeah, straight out of a movie, man. There's everything that's happening, that's for sure. When are you tattooing this piece, Jason?
Well, right now I'm just trying to conceptualize it for them.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't really gotten the approval on the design concept yet, so I'm still kind of working on it. Still
Oh,
kind
I
of
see.
seeing how things unfold. You know, they've got a whole bunch of different stuff that they like. You know, they like snakes. I already tattooed some flowers on their lower arm. They're absolutely in love with those. So it's like, okay, well, why not snakes and flowers? And you said this was the area that you wanted to get it done in. So let's come up with something for that spot. You know, snakes have always been something that I absolutely love to draw, and I have
Mhm.
no idea why. I just have always enjoyed the challenge of them, figuring out all the scales and what
Right.
kind of a back pattern do I want them to have? You know, how do I want to execute it? What perspective of the head do I want to have? You know, what do I want to have in the background? That kind of stuff. It's just, I don't know. There's just something about them that you can make them fit any spot. You know, it's kind of like my universal go-to whenever I can't figure out what else to draw or paint. I'm like,
Right.
I'll just do another snake. Why not?
Well, they set themselves up for a lot of movement and flow, and you know, you can manipulate them in so many directions that automatically just makes it a fun element to use, right?
Oh, absolutely. And you can make those bodies so animated and fit in such a weird way. You can really move someone's eye throughout a whole piece if you have that body right, you know, and really kind of bring their attention to exactly where you want it to be. I think that's one of the other
Right.
things that I really, really like about them.
Yep.
Yeah, I find snakes and like roses and flowers are usually my go-to for whenever I can't figure out what else to draw. So it's just I don't know, it's like my default setting.
Right. At least you sometimes you just end up starting from there, and then it may go in a different direction, but at least it kind of gets you going.
Right. Exactly. You know, it's like, okay, well, if I know that this is going to be where my starting point is, what can we do to expand off of that? You know, and I'll take the same concept. I just got done drawing side piece that the person ended up not really being super crazy about. You know, they originally came to me with a very specific concept. You know, got it together for them the best I could, you know, and then they were like, okay, well, now that I'm seeing it, maybe it's not exactly the way I'm trying to go with it. And it's like, okay, well, thanks, appreciate that. What are you rethinking now? Like simplifying the process, simplifying the concept, what direction do you want to take it now? Throwing that around for them. But once again, starting out with like some of those base curves that I would use on a normal snake body, incorporating that into maybe some of the tentacles and how the tentacles flow around. And
Right.
okay, well, do I want to have this tentacle kind of flowing down in this way and ending kind of curving down like this? Or do I want to have it circling around, bringing your eye back up in this direction? So it's, I try to really focus on where do I want someone to look? What kind of a movement do I want it to have? And then from there, everything else just kind of falls in place.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. The flow itself, just a rough sketch of an actual flow emotion, will trigger things in your subconscious, and you'll kind of start to see things, right? And then the possibilities kind of come from it, and you're like, oh, maybe it could be this,
right?
But you already got the movement going. No, I see what you're saying, man.
Yeah, it's to me, movement and where do you want to draw someone's attention? Like those are
right.
the biggest concepts I try to focus on with everything. Because if you can really move someone's eye throughout a piece and you can really force them to look in a specific spot, to me, you can't, not that you can't get better than that, but you're really utilizing all of the tools that you have at hand to the best of their ability.
Yeah, so Jason, I realize that if my mic is off, then people can't hear me. Huh. So Jason, Rose says, Jason, I'll be reaching out for that thigh piece.
Awesome. I'm all about it.
And let's see, we've also got our Belgian friend says, I have a tattoo shop in Ostende Beach, now closed until February. Hope we could open. Shamrocks. Curtis also says he's going to the Brussels tattoo convention. Go figure. It's a pretty fun show. Let's see what else. We got Stefan Henderson says, that's sick, bro. I said that a minute ago. So not sure what was showing up. Okay. And awesome. Okay, so those are the comments. I'm going to be monitoring this, but I won't be in front of the comments for like 5 or 10 minutes. So
Cool.
You guys are certainly keeping it going without, again, my mic was muted for forever. So you guys are doing great.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll try to keep my eye on all the chats going on and see what else is up. It's kind of crazy. I've got the Zoom set up on one window and I've got like 3 different chat areas that people can reach out, all set up as well. And it's kind of interesting. It's a lot to keep up with visually, but I have really bad ADD, so kind of works well in my favor.
Huh.
Yeah. When we had the virtual tattoo gatherings, we were doing like 6 to 12 streams at a time.
Wow.
And I was literally, I would have all of the audios and videos going on. I was testing them all at the same time. And after doing that for, 2 days, just listening to like one conversation, it was like, wow, this is like so easy just to listen to one. But now that we're just streaming one at a time, one stream at a time, it's way better on the psyche.
You can only imagine that must have given you a migraine.
I've been pretty geek. I mean, this is what I do. This is how, I've been a computer geek, like doing this stuff forever. So while I do get migraines, often I think that really just matches 2 things. One, how much actual time I'm spending scrunched over my computer without stretching. Also directly related to how much alcohol I drink while doing said scrunching. And if I stretch and I drink seltzer water, I could just do this shit nonstop, really. But anyways, it's exciting to do more drawing groups. And so anybody that is watching, remember hashtag reinventing drawing group when you put it out on the Instagrams or Facebooks. And if you are watching and you haven't heard, go to the App Store, Reinventing the Tattoo app. Android users, please just be a little bit more patient because we need to get the description just through the store. And actually, Patrick, have you let people know how to find you yet?
No. Instagram, Patrick Boothman. I think it's that simple. Patrick Boothman, all one word. There you go, at Patrick Boothman.
Perfecto. Sometimes it's just that simple.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the advantages of having a distinct name.
I'm actually going to go through and I'll give you a follow right now.
Awesome. Cheers. I shall reciprocate, Jason. And Jason, is it Jason at Jason Leeser?
At Philly Inc. All
At
one
Philly
word.
Inc. Got you.
Yeah.
At Philly Inc.
Yeah, I was one of the first like 350,000 people to sign up for Instagram back when it was still its own company before it was purchased by Facebook. So I got to pick my own name and I was like, okay, that should be a pretty easy one for people to remember.
So I take it you're based in Philadelphia?
Yes, just north of Philadelphia, right out in the suburbs of Philadelphia. Really nice location. It's not quite as busy. Work at a little bit more of a custom studio. We do a lot of custom large scale work.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, really nice.
So is that your own shop or?
No. So I do work for someone else, and that's kind of the way that I prefer it.
Yep.
I would rather not take work home with me at night. And from every studio owner I have ever talked to, they say that when they get home, the work just begins.
Right.
So,
okay. And so how many
work at work?
How many artists are working at that shop then?
There's 6 right now, and we have room for 1 more. But I mean, it's a nice size studio.
Yeah. And you're in Pennsylvania, yeah? That
is correct. Yes.
Okay. So where our shop is a little town called Narberth, Narberth, and I believe there is another Narberth, spelled exactly the same way, also in Pennsylvania. So there you go.
Interesting.
Well, it's a small world.
Actually, I'm going to look that up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that around here. I live in New England, so like it's always fun to catch the crossovers. Okay, a couple questions. Stefan, Patrick, do you do hand poke tattoos? How does that work? I've actually heard sometimes it hurts, but others say it's relaxing.
I do a bit of both. Try and combine what I've learned from hand poke into like machine stuff. But yeah, no, hand poke's fine. Heals really nicely. It's a lot slower. But yeah, it's a totally different vibe. You know, you can sort of come in with a client and you can talk without interruption from machine. You know, there's no cords at all, so that's a big bonus. I mean, nowadays with cordless machines, that's not so much the distinction or the noise even. But yeah, it doesn't hurt. I suppose the thing is, you can feel every needle pick every time it goes into the skin, whereas with a machine, you're sort of zoned out because your mind, you can't sort of feel that. So yeah, it's just different experience. It's a lot slower, but heals really, really quickly. And I got some of my clients, and they'll go just for hand poke on certain parts of their body because they know it heals so quickly. So like on the feet, for instance, I've got this guy now, and he's a labourer and needs to be on his feet all day. So we'll like hand poke him in the morning, and then he'll we'll wash him up, wrap his feet in cling film, or as do you guys call it, Saran wrap or whatever it is, and then he'll sort of go on and work. And we've not seen sort of any effects of it sort of doing any damage or anything like that. So yeah, it's pretty quick to heal. There's some really good hand poke artists in the UK. There's a fella called Adam Sage on the South Coast, tattooing in Brighton, who's absolutely amazing. And he's on Instagram I think it's at Adam Sage. He's worth a look. Yeah, it's all good. And for things like this, like for the dots, like these individual sort of dots, it's really easy to sort of recreate that effect, because if you've just got, say, a 5 or a 7, you can like plonk it in. It doesn't create, you don't get ink like spilling everywhere. So give it a quick wipe down and then put the next one in exactly where you want it in that pattern, and you can build up really specific sort of patterns. So yeah, it's good. Lines are a bit slow. Straight lines are okay, but like curvy specific lines like that can be like a bit sort of awkward, because you sort of got to get the needle in at the right sort of angle. And so I'm getting quicker, but then I'm getting better at machines as well. So
And then Bruno, someone was asking again for your Instagram. I put it up there in the chat, but if you wanted to just let people know again over the audio.
Sure, my pleasure. My Instagram is Prismas_art. That's PRISMAS_art.
Perfect. What is Prismus? What is is that Spanish for something, or?
Yeah, it means prism in Spanish, but it's like plural, like multiple prisms.
Nice.
Prismas. Yeah. Came up with that name a really, really long time ago. It was actually the name of one of the characters that I created one day, like when I was young, and it just kind of stuck, and it became my email, like Prismas22@hotmail, whatever, and it just kind of stuck around. I like the name, like, and it ended up becoming my Instagram name, my work name in a way.
Awesome. And you're working with Stefano sometimes. Where?
Yeah.
Tell us about what you're up to.
I work at Stefano's in Fort Lauderdale. I work from my private studio as well, but I work there in Fort Lauderdale with the Stefano's tattoo crew as well.
Awesome. He's clearly inspirational, awesome,
Oh, yeah.
Out of control. His work ethic, so amazing. He does it with a smile on his face.
Exactly.
I don't think I've actually ever heard him talk shit about anybody, really. I mean, I think,
Yeah.
I don't know. He has his opinions. Like I could tell that, he's not like just hunky dory with everyone. If you're a jerk, but I've never necessarily heard him say anything bad. He just kind of smiles. It's
it's not his style.
That's pretty amazing. And then you're both from Peru. Is that the one of the common?
Yeah. When he first came from Peru to New York to do a guest spot, he ended up doing a guest spot where my uncle works, and where my uncle used to work, and he's also a tattoo artist. And what's funny is that the place where he did his first guest spot is where he just recently opened up his shop, in the
Oh, no
same
shit.
exact location, right there on Williamsburg.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, I ended up, through my uncle and my brother actually ended up working with him and meeting him before me. And we all, we're all, old friends, him and his cousin Bror. So yeah, that's like the common, we're all Peruvian. So we kind of, we're hanging out together for a while and just kind of developed from there.
Awesome. Yeah, Bro's awesome. He's caught up with him at a million conventions and guest spots and whatnot. Sometimes we've beamed in with our shop down in Peru, which was pretty cool. So, yeah, he's Stefano's down there now, right?
Yeah, he's there for Christmas.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's there with the fam. And he's always going back and forth. But like you said, yeah, it's great to see him work and do the things he does, because he does it with such a great attitude, and there's always something to learn from Stefano.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just wondering if my mic was on. I remember, what was the first tattoo that it was like a Michael J. Fox or something, some realism stuff. It was he was pushing,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, he actually did that on my brother.
nice.
Yeah, back in the day, he was doing color realism.
Yeah. I was. I remember. He was hitting a fucking Sturgis and shit. It was fun. He killed it back. I remember when he showed up at our shop and he was killing it, and he's like, "Yeah, I just got back from Sturgis." I'm like, "I love motorcycles and Sturgis is great, but what the fuck are you doing tattooing in Sturgis?" Like, holy shit! Whoever the bikers there were, whenever they got tattooed by him, they were fucking jacked. He's a true force. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the bike weeks. He was going to those bike weeks for a while. Early on, around the same time, around that time, he was doing the Daytona one too. Yeah. My brother and my uncle used to do those as well. I never made it to one of those, but I heard they were fun.
I used to work a motorcycle rodeo, so it'd be all sorts of motorcycle tricks. Weaving between the cones. See how much of the hot dog you could eat while you're driving. The motorbike around the shit. It was
6 hot dogs, by the way.
Nice. Oh no. Well, I don't even want to go into. It was all biker fucking insanity, and yeah. So it's always kind of been a separate world than the tattooing, and for me at least, the bikers. Obviously there's great people that get great tattoos everywhere. It's just it's weird to. I love motorcycles. Actually, I was thinking about doing a drunk critique chopper edition.
Interesting.
So getting was talking to a couple motorcycle builders and that are tattooers and drunk critique, and I was like, oh shit, we could do drunk critique for anything. Anyways, this is drawing stuff. I yield the floor.
Drunk critiques are fun, man.
Yeah, until the next day.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, probably more for the viewer than the.
I swear I'm never drinking again. 3 days later, give me another one.
Well, from my perspective, it took me a full week to have 2 beers, and that was a half a week ago.
Wow.
I'm sticking to it for at least another week, probably. But did anybody catch the last one with Paul Booth and Joe Capobianco? And
no, I missed that one. Damn.
I still have a lot of videos I need to catch up on.
Yeah, it's almost like there's not. I mean, it's almost impossible to catch up on them all, especially when this last one was 9. It was 9 hours, but it was like hour 4 or 5. Joey Cap came up a couple times. I was like, oh, we'll give him a call. And he came in, and he's a barrel of energy, a crazy energy. And then Paul Booth fucking beamed in and calmed it down a little bit. It was pretty fun. Yeah. And then it was, we started early at 4:00, figuring we can help, time it for Europe. And, usually when we do that, we get done by 9:00. But 12:30, it was like, wait a minute, we started at 4. We're still going. Bob's, back to playing guitar. And
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, Bob is always there. Was Tony
Yes.
there too?
Tony was there too. Yeah, he was one. I think he brought in Paul probably. And
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Tony and Bob are kind of like the anchors for the drunk.
Yeah,
Critiques.
yeah.
Some convention promoter is gonna figure out how to get us to do it live on stage, and then it's fucking
Oh,
no
man,
holds
that
barred.
I want to see.
I think there probably would have to be a stipend involved with that. Like we'll do this out of Zoom at our house, for fun, but to do it on stage in front of actual people and risk, well, it'll take $500 or something, whatever. Who knows? Maybe not. But it was definitely the concept of it's way easier to walk around the block after a drunk critique than it is to walk around a convention floor full of people.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I found myself a couple times like working on a design or something with the drunk critique in the background, and it's been fun, man. Just cracking up,
Yeah, it's funny. I almost feel like I have to go out and, actually have a few drinks to be in the right mindset just to watch it. It's just something fun that, for the past few that I've, watched, obviously not live, but for the past few that I've watched, it was just me and a couple other tattooer friends sitting around having some beers, watching and listening to these drunk critiques and like laughing along with everyone.
Yeah, so it is a lot of fun. Yeah. Again, it's probably officially too much fun.
Yeah, not too long ago, I remember you were commenting that it was a rough one, that you weren't going to be drinking for a while.
Well, like I said, this every other one is like that. We were doing them once a week for a while in the beginning of this, and I guess everyone kind of really needed it. But after like 2 months of doing it every week, it was like, why don't we do this once a month? Make it a special event, not a habit. How about that? Man, to Jason, to your point, like, damned if like hour 7 we're not like, can we shut this off? Is this time to end? And people are like, no, we're still watching. This is like a convention. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it gets to that point where it's like, we probably shouldn't be live right now, but if there's still viewers, then why not?
Yeah, I was very proud of myself. One of the last ones with Tommy Lee, because I think I fucking bled out a little bit, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute. And then Tommy was like, "Oh yeah, well, let's trade stories." And I was like, "Wait, we could shut it off. We don't.
Yeah,
have to do
we
this
don't
live.
need to be live right now."
Which is way preferable. I remember there was at least one or two where, like I said, I would have to take my walk because family's like, "You're too drunk. Get the fuck out of the house. You're keeping us awake." And so like I would take my walk, and then everyone would kind of hang. We'd be done. We'd hang up. I remember one in particular, Bob was there. Oh, hey Bob, how are you? And then all of a sudden, I'm just like having a phone call with Bob, drunk in the middle of the night. And when I get back to the computer, it's like, do you want to stop streaming? And I think a couple people, I think Damon Tesh in California was like, dude, your mic's still on. Yeah, you're still streaming, Gabe.
Oh no!
But I figure if anybody watches 6 hours of drunk critique, then they can get to any of that. Yeah.
Fun time.
Oh, look at this. Okay, we've got Fawn joining. Fawn. Awesome. Well, we're connecting to her audio. Fawn is a co-host of the Tattoo Collecting podcast that is live every Thursday at noon, and all of the replays are at tattoocollecting.com. Is that the truth, Fawn?
That is the truth. Hey guys.
Hey, Fawn.
Hey there.
I'm getting set up for a armpit tattoo today.
Oh, so much fun.
You know how partial I am to armpit tattoos.
I've got 2 blank ones that need to be filled.
I mean, I'm gentle with them. Today I'm working on a good buddy of mine. His name's Derek. I've done a lot of freehand work on him. So for like a drawing group, he's a pretty good one. He's a pretty good canvas.
Awesome. And you're beaming in from a Red Tree Tattoo in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh yeah, yep, we're here. We're live at Red Tree.
If Dante is there, tell him I said hi.
Let me walk back there. I'll go talk to him.
Dante's a very good friend of mine. I met him at the Puerto Rico Tattoo Convention. Phenomenal dude. Just a really great guy.
I'd definitely love to get down to that show. It's like in November. It's perfect. Is it November? November?
It's usually in December.
December. There you go.
Oh, it's Jason.
Yo, Dante.
So, bro.
What's going on, man?
Hi, son. Good.
Yeah, man. Just wanted to say hi.
Yeah, man.
Sunday, man. What are you doing working?
Dude, I couldn't make it yesterday, so.
Makes sense.
So let's do that, man. Gotta grind.
Yeah, buddy.
Right, bro. Look at this, man.
Pop back in.
Take care, bud. Thank you, Fawn.
Yep.
You never know what's going on at Red Tree, man.
One of those places I really need
you
to
always
take a
know
road
something
trip out
is.
to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we're lucky. He's like Red Tree smack dab in between here and hyperspace.
studio's bad.
So
really?
A good job. We're really privileged to be here and with all the stuff that we have. I think today there's some music and stuff going on. You wanna hop on up there?
See how you won't be behind here today. So basically,
I got to sneak through here and get some
I
water.
like to do it. People gonna act like
it's a sick piece, huh? It's huge.
You rap. As soon as you come around that corner, you rap it. We gonna time the music to where it's right there, and you just gotta pace yourself to get from here to that end. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, my last set of bars. Huh? 12 bars.
He's just gonna have to kind of come back. I'll kind of guide him in the sense that he can kind of come up,
Okay,
come back
you
again.
yep,
You know what I'm
yep.
saying? Just to kind of, yep.
Okay. So you still gonna get a little quick. Or just keep it all in one hallway.
I'll keep it simple. Yeah.
So, Fawn, you want to talk about some of the recent guests on the show?
Oh man, we just talked to Todd Torres and then Chuck Deasy, which are two super prolific collectors. I feel like we could talk to them all day, every day. I just messaged Jay Grimmy today, so I'm going to see if we can get him on in the near future. You know who he is? He's working on collecting the bodysuit from Ty.
Oh,
You know who I'm
awesome!
talking about?
I don't know. I know some of the pieces, but I've never met
Yeah,
him.
he's a rad dude. He's just super excited about life all the time.
Fuck yeah! You know, when I saw the email come in or the texts go through with Chuck's collection, it was like, holy shit! Like fucking slamming tattoo after slamming tattoo after fucking. That was a pretty crazy set of pictures.
Only like 25% of his tattoos. So that was just like a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, nice. It would be fun to get the full, like the full Adrian Lee treatment on some of these new body. I mean, I guess he probably is out there, but
You want to
he's like a master documenter.
spin around for the camera here?
What do I need to do? Over here or is this too close?
So what I would
Can you take over my
What do you
space?
wanna
Just twirl in front of that.
twirl?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, got this big landscape, some riblets.
Ah, the riblets.
Nice. Yeah, cool.
That bear's freehand too. All of it is black and gray.
Uh-huh.
It's got some black and gray outer space on the other arm.
Can't really see.
See the armpit? It just it's
Yeah,
it.
it's
Very nice.
You know, I definitely don't miss a lot about having tattoo shops, but I absolutely miss looking at slamming tattoos every day. I mean, I look at them on the line, but seeing them in person like that, yeah.
All the time it's magic, and that's one of the things that's really magic is no matter who's working or what they're working on, it's mind blowing just to pop my head in and look over their shoulder.
Yeah.
We all learn so much from each other that like we just grow together. It's really nice. It's a really nice thing about our team.
It's very tricky putting it together. Derb has helped get and obviously it's because of the crew, but he's the guy that always the buck stops with him. So it's awesome to see his hard work come together. Yeah.
He's got great ideas, and he's really good at like curating the right people to make the ideas and the bigger picture come together. It's really neat to be a part of and to learn from and to see.
And cannot wait for Hell City. Let me take that back.
Earlier today.
I'm happy to wait for Hell City, but it'll be very fun to finally get there and experience it again.
I'm looking forward to it. I miss being out in the desert. I was so bummed to not do Hell City at the Biltmore.
Yeah.
You know how partial I am, though, right, Gabe?
It's right. Obviously, your back piece inspired. If anybody's checks out Russ's, what would you search for to see it?
It comes up under Russ Abbott. It comes up. It's one of the first ones that'll come up.
Do like search like Russ Abbott back piece, and you'll see it looks like the structures out there.
And then he did a piece on like a full front torso on a girl named Carol, working on a dagger for the last couple of years. I feel like her piece and my piece just projected Russ into a totally new possibility of like how he can work with ornamental shapes.
Yeah, it's we might at some point we should figure a mic situation for you, because there is just a fair amount of back. I'm presuming it's coming from the rest of the shop there, which is somewhat unavoidable. There's
not going to be a motion much longer.
Cool. No worries at all. It's like I said, it's it sounds good, or sounds good enough, and it's cool that the Biltmore. There we go. That's the who designed the Biltmore?
So the signature bricks that were used at the Biltmore were designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, and I believe it's maybe Abbott is the name of the actual architect that designed the whole hotel. But the special thing about the Biltmore block, that brick, and why it was so special to Frank Lloyd Wright, is because he designed it to represent the mathematical equation for the refraction of light. So it's like Frank Lloyd Wright's version of how light works in a 3D form. So that brick was just incredibly important to him. So I guess they paid an arm and a leg for the privileges to use that.
Uh-huh.
And then awesome, that was the whole estate, I guess. But Frank Lloyd Wright I just love the way he's a rule breaker, to be an engineer and a visionary at the same time. I think there's a lot of magic to that. He did a lot of things that couldn't be done, materials they couldn't be done with. He made visions come to life in a tangible way that like they changed how architecture works.
I would be like this.
I was
Like
thinking about just things in general, and I was like, oh man, I want.
yeah.
Oh, I think you were there. I was listening. I was trying to envision a guy working with Jordan to do some of these VR worlds, and texture that shit out and create it and whatnot, and then it was like, oh man, we got to figure out how to. I don't know, who knows, get $500,000 together. But imagine if a guy was working with an architect and making a fucking, full on, basically, I suppose a little bio art museum or a hyperspace art museum or something. But mostly, if he already does all of his not his little sculptures. He's a sculptor. Imagine if he was able to do it fucking 50 feet tall and immersive.
Yeah, an otherworldly landscape type thing.
Yeah.
Where can I buy tickets to this?
Yeah, sign me up.
I guess we have to he could, Kickstarter might not. Yeah, mostly I think we just need to catch up, get Reinventing rocking, and then we'll be able to play with fun things like that, maybe. Who knows?
That would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
Alex Gray's got a pretty good thing going on. I mean, it's,
I was just thinking about that, yeah.
It's, and I guess part of it, obviously Alex is, out of control also. But, yeah, mostly it's, I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, dude, like there's like the lighting and the fucking structures and, you get the 3D projection going on, like, to go on top of all the shit. So you could change, and guys obviously well aware of like what the base should be and then what you could project, on top of it. And,
Black desperado with money like bread loaves. Supposed to get arrow. I spare no foes. You think a soft dirty pillow stick stretched like a limo. I'm a fire flame zipping with a stump like a hippo. Ditto. I'm flipping a stick and I rip muscle hard armadillo. I'm ripping a dip and I rip. I'm a soul loaded clips.
Never know when it's going to turn into a party. And,
right?
It's usually a ghost town here on Sundays. It's like a delightful surprise to walk into like a building like with signs of life.
Yeah. You guys had your party last night.
Yeah, that went great.
Awesome.
We've kept our family, our tattoo family, we call it. We've kept our tattoo family pretty tight and close knit the whole COVID season. Like when we were under lockdown, we had like a quarantine group of about 20 people, and then we had like a solid rule of no new friends.
Yep.
That's all same throughout all of this. So it's nice that same core we can still like celebrate with, and we're all like collectively very safe, and we've all been healthy the whole time.
Awesome. I'm hearing definitely 2 tattoo families that have gotten sick, in the last month, and it's a good thing to do your best to follow the rules of science.
Yeah. Our whole collective is really being careful. So
I bet you guys get a little shit sometimes when people are putting pictures up and everything, but it's good to just be like, look, if you follow, the guidelines, and we're all tattooers, so what do you got going on? Is that another video camera in the background?
yeah, they're filming a music video today.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Hence the party.
Yeah.
That explains it.
Awesome.
Right.
Yep. Today's
I've got to
gonna
go. My batteries are going. So, adios.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Take care,
And,
Patrick. Thank you for joining us today.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ta-ra, my battery. My bad. Ta-ra.
Take care.
See you, man.
I had an amazing time in Wales at the Wales convention, whatever the fuck they named it. Like I said, Neil put it on. I think it was great. It was definitely a quiet little seaside English or Wales town. God, they probably would have killed me if I said English. Welsh.
Yes. I think he did hear you. Run away.
Sorry about that. Like what I'm saying is it was beautiful. And
nice cover, Gabe.
Yeah. But
I think Jordan's running around here somewhere today. We seem to have lost him, but he's here.
I wonder, I need to click the participants list here every once in a while. No, okay, we're all good. Yeah, his back piece is looking pretty out of control. Holy Moses.
Oh, I'm so excited for him.
Oof.
To
Saw
be
those
able
pictures go through and I was like, oh man.
to see the such fast evolution of that is really cool.
Right. At least, yeah. And so probably one more, maybe two more visits or one more visit just to, I mean,
Well, you know how Guy is. I think they're talking about one more 2-day session, but
and then one more to
yeah, button it up for good.
the beauty pass.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be pretty amazing. Yeah. And you know, to be that aggressive on finishing it is no feat. Jordan's you know, oof, a lot of work. It's great.
It's finished. We're gonna jump in and complete his arm too. So he'll be putting himself through it for a little while. But it's good. It's
That's a
good.
lot.
We need it sometimes. Just to remind us what we're doing. Remind us how bad we're hurting people.
Yep.
That squiggliness is because it hurts, not because like life difficult. Keeps us humble, man. Keeps us humble. Get tattooed until you're broken, and then go back and get tattooed until you're even more broken. And it keeps you real humble.
Yeah, I remember I pretty much, I hate telling the story because it's not a great, but at one point I almost pretty much gave up. I was like, fuck it. If I fall asleep and die getting tattooed, it is what it is. I traveled for like 20 some odd hours. I was exceptionally exhausted. And then Guy was like, you know, it was 11 o'clock or 10:30. And he's like, you know, we got another hour or two because he goes on till 1. And I was like, I was torturous and I needed to sleep. And I was convinced that if I fell asleep, I'd go into shock, but I'd be sleeping. So he wouldn't know it and he'd just keep tattooing me. And, but
Great
then
strategy.
all of a sudden he was like, okay, we're done. I was like, what do you mean we're done? He's like, well, it's 1 o'clock. I can't go on any longer. I was like, holy shit, that hour and a half just fucking, as soon as I let go and was like, whatever, cruise through. It's, maybe he back teamed me up too or something. I fell asleep and it was all good, but getting yeah.
Stories like this always make me think of Jeff Gogway's video, Surrender, because like you realize what it's like when you actually like mentally and physically submit and surrender to the process. And you know, there is a true surrender. And once you do it, once you just accept it, it happens more efficiently, it gets over faster. But like the more you mind over matter and try to like fight it, the more you fight it. It's really a thing when you just like submit and let it go. It's not easy though. Not easy at all. I usually can only do it out of complete exhaustion.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I get tattooed, the last major piece I had done was by my friend Phibbs. He's now at Guru Tattoo in San Diego, and he knocked out a full color side piece on me. And to me, the easiest thing to do to get to that place, I have to go into complete sensory deprivation. So I need to have something covering my eyes so I can't see anything. I'll put in headphones with like very almost like meditative music, very slow beat rate, no lyrics, nothing like that. Just something that will allow me to zone out. And I just start counting my breaths to kind of get me into a meditative state. And it works a treat. But once you mentally have made that decision to surrender, I think you're 100% accurate. It really does the trick, and time will just start going by quicker than you realize.
Yeah, that's surrendering to the to the process and to the situation. I think it's definitely the key, right? Because without that, it doesn't really matter what kind of trick you try to apply. Like your mind is still gonna be going places and feeling everything. And so, yeah, that's definitely a good I completely agree. That surrender side of it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that video Surrender that Jeff Gogwe put out,
Uh-huh.
you know, I watched that religiously for probably 3 weeks straight just because of like just how much inspiration I drew from it and how much knowledge was contained within it.
I use that video as a tool when I've got a client who's like particularly struggling with like a challenging area, or, you know, like my own pep talks aren't working anymore, and sharing like my own like ways that I find strength to get through sessions. Like once that's not working anymore, it's like, let's listen to Jeff's soothing voice. Let's hear him talk for a little bit. And I feel like if you listen to that video and you listen to what they say while you're sitting there getting tattooed, it's almost like you hear his clients speak and you hear him speak, and you realize that there's a camaraderie with receiving tattoos, with like just having the mental fortitude, A, to make the commitment, and then B, to see it through every like painful, painstaking hour to see it through. Once you realize that like you're not the only one that's felt what you're feeling, and all these other committed people have felt exactly that, it's almost like you're still being punished, you're still being brutalized, but you almost feel like gratified because you're earning stripes just like these other people before you have earned those stripes. So I love to use that video as a tool, and honestly that's probably a lot of the motivation for even wanting to do a podcast or even wanting to reach out to like that kind of an audience, just because it is a challenge and it's not easy for us. And, you know, sometimes TV makes it look and seem like you show up, you get the tattoo and you're good to go the next day, but they don't tell you about the week of misery that follows a tough session. They don't tell you about how you have to like change your diet so your body can heal more quickly. And, you know, those are all the things that never get discussed, but should.
Very true.
Yeah. I would love to hear some of those things, especially I hadn't heard anything about the diet side of it.
I like to like before I get worked on my big sessions, I like to carbo load the night before. So I usually either do like a baked potato or a pasta or both, just so I have a little bit more stamina the day of. And then I make sure that I'm just drinking more water than usual, just so my body is ready to heal. And then once I am in recovery mode, it's like I just want to eat the best of the best so that my body gets everything it needs to heal more quickly. So,
right.
Yeah, I would agree. Hydration is one of the key things that a lot of people don't realize is actually very, very important.
Especially to your skin healing. Of all organs, your skin needs to be hydrated to heal. So I really like talking about things like that, just because like people forget that there's something that happens after the tattoo, and that's the most challenging part for some sessions.
Yeah, definitely. I think it should be talked about a little more for sure. That way clients can be educated, right? And everybody wins.
Right. Yeah, I think client education is one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't necessarily focus too much on. You know, I always like to tell people, especially clients, whenever they come in, it's like, listen, yes, I am going to be applying a tattoo on you, but part of my job being a tattoo artist is to educate you on not only what is going to look the best being a tattoo, but how to take care of it. Even though you might have a full bodysuit already, you know, there are certain things that we all need to be reminded of, you know, every now and then, just for great standard of practice. You know, we all forget things. That's going to happen. But by constantly educating and then re-educating your client on, okay, here's the best thing to do to take care of this. Here's, you know, things to watch out for. Here's design elements that are going to make for a really strong, really classic tattoo. You know, what are you going to want to look for in a really good tattoo, even if it's not done by me? You know, I've had friends of mine that live out in San Diego that, okay, well, you know, I'm out here, you know, I don't know the next time I'm going to make it out there. So, you know, here's what I want you to look for in someone that you're considering to do your next tattoo. I think education is one of the most important things.
Okay, so I just got back in front of the computer here, so I've got a couple of things to in from the chat room. Uh, we've got Gail Kill. Hello, greetings from Argentina. Carlos Eduardo, it says greetings from Brazil. He's in Rio de Janeiro.
Hey guys, welcome.
What's up?
Let's see. What's the name of the video they are speaking of? Asks Garrett. That is Surrender from Jeff Gogway.
It's only about a half hour long, but it's great.
Yeah, I think if you just go to gogwayart.com, it will show up. I'll fire it up here real quick so that it's great. It really is. It's a couple years old now at this point. I'm sure he'd be like, he's moving on to the next thing. But he's amazing, obviously. Here we go. Surrender. Yeah, gogwayart.com.
I took a couple of his seminars on the Paradise gatherings, and man, like those Gogwe, like a lot of the seminars I took, they were all amazing, but Gogwe's kind of like really made an impact on me, kind of made me reflect, right, on the intention of things, and just such great insights that he had to share. Really enjoyed his seminars.
A very, very impressive human being.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Damon Tesh, I do the same thing with covering my eyes in the headphones, and yet I have clients that just breeze through it. Damon's a tattooer out in Humboldt County.
Yeah, I actually had, I actually flew out to the London show. Phibbs was working at it, and I told him I was going to be there anyway. Just said, hey, listen, if you need a stand-in, if one of your appointments cancels or whatever, and you have a last minute opening or a spot that you need to fill, I said, just send me a text, let me know. I'm going to be here anyway. I'll be more than happy to pick something up if someone bails on you last minute. And sure enough, he ended up having a cancellation. And, sat down. I won't ever forget. There was one guy that came by and just looked at me getting tattooed. And obviously this is all coming secondhand because I'm laying down and can't really tell anything that's going on. And apparently this guy came by and asked if I was dead. Mm-hmm. My friend just started laughing. He said, no, this is just what he does. And it is. That's how I make it through every long session and every difficult tattoo that I've ever gotten. Getting the back of my thigh tattooed, which I was not a big fan of, hit a lot of very sensitive spots that I didn't even think about. Like behind the knee. Yeah, didn't quite factor that in. And that was unique, to say the least. But that's how I've made it through all of them so far. And it really does work a treat.
It sounds like my latest technique when I get tattooed, which seems to be working. I just kind of find a way to deactivate myself, as much as possible, especially if I'm laying down, it comes a little more easy.
Yep.
But I literally just deactivate, I could look dead, so what somebody was seeing in you kind of reminds me of how I probably look, but it works, man.
It does.
Really works.
That to me is the secret, to anyone really sitting for an extended duration of time is, give yourself into it and put your mind somewhere else. Turn everything off, deactivate. Great way to express it. Just deactivate, hit the snooze button and just turn your mind off for a little bit. And next thing you know, they're tapping you saying, hey, we're going to take, a 5-10 minute quick stretch break, or, hey, you're done for the day. And it's like, wait, what happened? Where am I? What's going on?
Yeah.
All right, man. That's cool. And I'll definitely be getting in contact with you.
And Bruno, you are active on the mobile app, right? You're on the app.
Yeah.
And
I just got it.
oh, so let me. And you're on the iPhone. Let me
I was
just-
on.
She just left.
Yeah.
10 seconds later.
Huh? Skirt, skirt.
That's the first round video I'll be in.
Nice, nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're pretty good, actually.
I wonder what they think of our.
From it.
I wonder what they think of our wall of instruments down there.
Oh, dude, they're flipping out on this
So
place.
Bruno, I just made
Did you
sure
see
you
we're
had
on the-
access to
Reinventing?
live streaming,
Yeah.
Nice.
Talking to Gabe.
Wonderful.
Yeah. What up, Gabe?
so that when you're on the app, if you at any time wanted to go to either like the community group or to the tattoo group or the art group,
Yeah, that's
you could either live stream or yeah, I mean it was live stream that I just clicked on. So
Maybe I'm aware.
Oh, that's amazing, man.
He's like,
it goes. There's two ways to stream. One is straight from the app on the phone
yeah.
to one of the groups, and then the other is to do this like multi-user Zoom kind of interface.
Oh wow.
So we'll basically like schedule all of these Zoom shows and group activities, but as far as the the streaming straight from the phone, that we can give access to some of the teachers and subscribers and whatnot to just kind of click go live. You point your camera, at the art, and then you go. It's best for like 20 minutes to an hour-ish kind of streams, so that people have time to like tune in and and again, it's not as interactive as this with all sorts of Zooms, but it's still it's cool and it's really simple. So and people dig it.
Yeah, I did it earlier today, man. Super easy, very user friendly.
Man, I can't wait. It sounds like awesome. Like all these little things that make things easier.
Alrighty, you ready?
Yeah, we're just refining and refining and refining. It's pretty awesome. It is because
No, we
people
should
are
probably go. I mean,
able to use it more.
maybe kill another 10 minutes.
So like I said, I just clicked off the button for you, so next time you're able to play with it, at your leisure.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm gonna explore it today for sure. I can't wait.
I was thinking we should host these in Spanish.
Yeah, man, like that would be amazing. That would be a lot of fun. You can always count on me.
Sweet. Well, we're filling out. We're confirming January's schedule. We really want to focus on getting ahead of all the events so that we can fill out January's schedule, and then during January we can fill out February's schedule. And what that means is everyone can take a peek at the upcoming schedule, see what's happening across all the different channels, and
Nice.
click the buttons accordingly. And then we're refining the filing system so that each of these shows can get put in the appropriate places, so that all the replays are accessible. And,
Man, it's such a great thing, man. Like it's such a privilege to be able to have access to so much material. Everything that's been done in the last few months. It's like so much good stuff that is available and that one can always go back to. This is so great, man.
yeah, it's crazy. We're getting a lot of feedback from people that are able to check out the replays too, and it's not they're not getting lost, and they're actually able to check them out, and even though they're long form, as we just put them on in the background. Sometimes it's and we should have like one more round of clarification and ease of use and interface refinement. The learning tools need to get one more round of plugged in, and the folders, we're getting pretty close, but
Amazing, man.
and then Baxter, are you gonna hop back on for Baxter's thing tonight, or?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna be tuning in for sure.
Awesome. He's one of my favorites. I've known him for
Oof.
forever, almost in the tattoo world. Like he got into a dark side tattoo, like mid-90s, late 90s, and right out of the gate, he was like, "Oh my god, this guy's amazing! You know, this kid's amazing. Where did he come from?" And
All right.
I'm ready whenever you're ready.
a lot of it was his voice. He's such a great, authentic kind of like, as Guy was saying earlier, well thought out. He doesn't want to waste anything really. He's great.
Yeah, man. I admire him for sure.
I like to hear.
Did you see the link? I linked up in the community there in the app, and we keep talking
Oh my
about
goodness, this is gonna suck before.
his
And
critique seminar or his critique talk.
Yeah, I saw the link to that. I can't wait to actually sit down and watch it.
It's great. He
What was it? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
It's a video on critiquing and how to do effective and professional critiques.
Oh, was that from the seminar that he gave
yeah
a long time ago?
it was in
Probably.
2015 maybe.
Yeah, I was there, man. I was there.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, man. Of course. Didn't he do it with Gogwe, I think? Both of them?
I think that was a different.
It was. That's right.
This one's. I wonder if this is still going out.
Oh, nice, man.
It's I put it up in the feed there. It's evaluating art, the principles of critique.
Yep.
And, it's like 45 minutes, and yeah, it was amazing to see in person. It was, but the video's pretty faithful. It's that's great.
Can't wait to check it out, man. I feel like with the app, it's just gonna be so much easier to just get in, come back, and get out, get out, come back in, move around, like for sure.
I'm finding administering it's just that much easier too. I'm like, oh wait a minute, I could do most of this from my. Part of me is like, motherfucker, I'm trying to get off my phone. And I could do all the administration on my computer, but I could also do it on my phone.
Gabe, you have to realize by now that we're never going to allow you to get off of your phone. We are going to bombard you with text messages and emails and reinventing messages and all types of stuff at all hours of the night, just because you've given us that kind of access.
Well, but that's kind of the beauty, right? If all of the structure is set up, then all of the communications are about embellishments and not about any sort of issues. Although right now, we're smoothing them out. But I'm doing a pretty good job at trying not to be addicted to my phone. Now I'm fucking full on addicted to it. Well, but point being is now I'm like addicted even more, or just trading out the addictions.
Right.
But
well, I promise not to bombard you with like 80 different messages at 3:00 in the morning anymore.
My phone won't interrupt me or wake me up. So you can feel free. I also likewise, unless people are like, what the fuck, dude, my phone rings and you just woke me and my wife up. I'm like, oh, sorry. I just kind of presume that people's phones don't disturb them when they don't want to be disturbed.
Yeah.
So you feel free to text me at 3 a.m. I'll probably either be awake or just, either still awake or just waking up. Or I'll catch it at fucking 5 a.m.
Yeah, I'll send you some funny memes.
I would usually let this dry, but I'm jumping right
I
in
feel like
because
this
it's the
process
armpit.
started so fast. And it usually does.
All right, here we go.
I heard she turned it on. I'm like, oh fuck.
Utilize this feel good stuff as much as possible. Not bad.
Are you touching it?
I am touching you. Indeed. Indeed.
Crazy how things work nowadays. It's just like speeding on right by right now. It's just pretty nice.
Are you using some like anesthetic?
Yes, I'm using a product called Zensa. If you noticed, I like took my sweet time setting up while Derek was just chilling over on the couch.
Got it. Yeah, yeah.
Let this stuff marinate for like 45 minutes to an hour. We kind of cut it close, but I feel like once I get the skin broken, I've got a whole rinse cup full of Bactine, and I've also got a big old glob of nothing balm. So using it just as kind of like a head start to get it committed, and then jumping back in a little bit with the other products is going to help us get through this really comfortably today.
Nice. Yeah, I've noticed that with some of these anesthetics that are applied at the beginning, that work, but once the skin is broken, they no longer work the same, and so that's when you want to start to reapply something on the broken skin. So yeah, you're definitely well equipped for this battle.
Right. I have been experimenting a lot with my own collection with the prenumbs. So I've tried some that work great and some that like it would have been better off just using Bactine, and it overcomplicated the process. But I really like this Zensa. This Zensa seems to work great. It does tend to work better in the more tissuey, like squishy areas of the body, like where the skin has a little bit of like that fat in the subcutaneous layers. Those are the areas that it works really well. Like for instance, like on my lower back, it worked really well in like the love handles and butt cheeks, but like in the area of the sacrum where the skin is more taut and there's less tissue, it didn't help near as much in those areas. I recently got my armpits done by Guy, and we used Zensa and Bactine, and it was an incredibly like, it still sucked because it was the armpits, but it was like a really pleasant combination, and I got through it pretty comfortably considering it was my armpits. So yeah, so I'm trying to pass that path through caramel along to Derek and make his day as pleasurable as possible.
Nice.
Gives me more time to go internal.
So it's Zenta, right?
Zensa, yep, Zensa. It's great. It's about $40 a tube, but it's just a great head start for a long session. I do like to let people know that it's not going to give you like an entirely painless session, but it's going to give us a head start. And I think if you approach it like it's just going to be an easy head start and not a pain-free day, and you've already got it in your mind, like, okay, this is only going to help for a little while and then I got to bear it. I think that really helps. I think there's a lot of like, you got to have your head in the right place, whether you use prenum or not.
Definitely, like avoid creating those false expectations, right? That it's not gonna hurt at all, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's the number one misconception that people have about anesthetics is they're like, oh, well, you've got that stuff to make it just go numb, right? And it's like, yeah, but you have no idea, what it actually does. It's just there to help take the edge off. It's not there to make you go completely numb so you don't feel it.
You can also overdo it. It's really not good for your heart.
True.
If you do too much prenum. I'm gonna say I overdid it. When they tell you to only do like a few inches, and I coated like from the top of my shoulders to the bottom of my butt cheeks, that was too much.
Wow.
My heart, like I could tell, like I'm not gonna say anything crazy happened, but when I stood up or when I sat down, I could definitely feel like a flutteriness, and like you could tell my blood pressure was a little bit low. So heed my warning, nothing crazy happened to me, but I could tell that was too much anesthetic. Like it was affecting me a little bit. So small areas.
Yeah, that's good advice. Just to be cautious.
Yep. How you doing, Derek?
Not really feeling it too much.
Good. Good.
Bruno, are you the type of person who could have imagined giving that advice like 20 years ago? Or were you giving that same advice then?
Which one? The numbing?
No, just to, what was it, not to take it easy or to take it slow?
To deactivate when getting tattooed?
No. Like basically, the last piece of advice was like, take it easy. Be moderate. You don't want to go crazy with anything. And I'm just wondering if, like, 20
Oh, to
years
be
ago,
cautious.
like,
It's good to be
people,
cautious.
it's good to be cautious.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like usually you figure that out, as time goes by, right? Like after you weren't cautious and
Hopefully
and
not
something
too late.
happened. Yeah, no, I've heard some stuff as well. Like a buddy of mine that went to Brazil, and in the Brazil convention, he used a really strong anesthetic, and that, was legal over there, but would have been illegal here. And the guy just kind of went a little retarded, like he lost his, like, he just started acting real weird, and kind of lost his, he was, he wasn't acting right. This is my friend telling me, right, that something definitely happened. It affected him in that moment.
Mm.
And it was because the anesthesia was just very strong, and I think it was near his like chest or his ribs or something. And I feel like in that type of situation, you definitely want to be careful where you're applying such a strong anesthetic, right, near like the organs and stuff. Like you never know, right? Like you don't really know what you're about to do. So definitely caution in these type of situations. But that was more of an extreme situation that I did hear of over there in Brazil with the very high lidocaine anesthesia. But after I heard that, I realized, gotta be careful with those things. You never know. But it seems like Bactine just seems to be what works the best for me. You can't really put it in. You can't put it in the skin from the start, but as soon as the skin starts to break and there's no stencil, the Bactine just works amazing. It helps just as much as I need it to help, and I don't have to worry about the skin reacting to it, in a way that might happen unexpectedly. I know I can count on Bactine, and it's gonna get the job done. So I pretty much just use that. But there are certain situations, like the armpit, for example, where something extra would be helpful, because that's just an extremely sensitive area.
See, I think Fawn hit the nail on the head when she said, obviously, that you have to have your mind right, because if your mind's right, Bactine, Prenum, Vaseline, all that stuff, it'll help take the edge off. But if your mind's not there and your mind's not tuned in to getting that tattoo done, it doesn't matter what you use, you're not going to sit well, and it's going to be absolutely terrible.
Yes, 100%. If it's not the pain, it's going to be the anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
If you're uncomfortable with that, you can bring it up higher if you need to.
I'm fine for now.
Would it be more comfortable if the armrest was under you, or are you totally good?
For now, I'm fine. If I start going over something,
Okay.
I'll let you
I
know.
got it over here in case we need it.
Okay. I think eventually I will.
Fortunately for you, I already brought a lot of black in awful close to this armpit. We got a lot of the bad areas out of the way already.
Just one spot that I really kind of felt like it's just regular start off, and that was up towards the top area. That's about that.
So, figure maybe we'll stop the stream at 4 o'clock. That'd be 2 hours. We don't necessarily have to kill. Well, I think at 2 hours that might be a good time to take a good break and then meet everybody back at, or not everybody, but whoever is going to make it back to catch the Nick Baxter art jam.
That'll give me a little bit of time to do laundry and go out and get some groceries.
Eat some food.
Yep. Maybe take a nap.
Oh, who needs a nap?
I do. Sorry. I
Yeah,
love nap time.
this is what I call a good Sunday.
Right?
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to that. Nick Baxter.
Oh, that's going to be amazing. I can't wait for that.
And then next Sunday is the fucking bio madness. Guys, getting together the description for it, but there's going to be a whole round of like passing around collaborative whatever, pieces of artwork that are being created. What do you call digital artwork? They're not paintings. They're collaborative digital art paintings.
Digital art, yeah.
Whatever. Point being is that's going to be pretty awesome. I think Marcus and Killian are hosting.
Love his work.
So that's the 27th. Yeah, exactly a week from today. Yeah, we'll get all that description and everything up on the computer soon.
Yeah, I'm really interested to kind of see how that works. From the way that it was described before, it almost sounded like an art fusion, which I remember seeing many years ago at one of the Philadelphia tattoo conventions, and it just blew my mind. Seeing what was it, like 5 or 6 different artists working on that many different pieces at one time and switching every few minutes was just mind-blowing to me. And this, I think, is actually going to turn out a little bit better personally, just because you have people that are working in the same style. Whereas, before it could be fine line black and gray artists next to biomech artists, next to guys that do, traditional stuff. Yeah, there's always an aspect of fine art to it, but when you don't really have a cohesive style, in that work, it gets a little muddy after a while.
Yeah, it's really easy to fall apart. But yeah, to your point, like a lot of the artists have already kind of worked with each other doing this. They had like a Flickr group in the past, and I think it was like 4 or 5 or 6 years ago. It was part of maybe the early parts of the bio the encyclopedia the guy was working on. But there was a bunch of people who pass around all of the stuff via some of the online. I think it was a Flickr group. And so you can go to sleep and upload what you were working on, and then 1 or 2 or 3 people could pick it up and work on it overnight. If they're again talking about Malaysia or Philippines or Vietnam or whatever, somebody could work on it overnight, and then you wake up and see what how it evolved, and so they've already kind of went through this one, so it's going to be pretty fun to kind of see it kind of come back and to see what how it's all going to work. But like I said, I just got the description probably like yesterday, so we'll get it up, and so it's like every Sunday night, basically at 9:00 is paint night, art night.
Yep, and then you go to sleep, wake up early, join Jake Meeks in the morning for the Monday morning drawing session.
Fun. Yeah, those are always pretty fun to do. It's good to get the Monday morning 9:00 stream. For everyone that's doing artwork, you guys are getting up early too, of course. But I'm like, okay, wake up. Okay, now I need to be alert enough that if something's breaking at 9:00 in the morning, I can fix it. And it's a pretty good way to start the week. Be like, okay, working after that, ready to go.
Yeah, if you guys don't mind me jumping on here for some of these activities, like while I'm actually tattooing, I'm definitely I'll be able to be a lot more interactive and involved if you don't mind me actually tattooing while we talk about tattoos.
I mean, it's a tattoo series
of
shows.
I don't see why that would be an issue, but
feels like the audio is this sounds great.
Audio's okay now that they're not shooting a rap video?
Yeah.
In the hallway right outside my door? I never could. I never would have put money on the fact that when I pulled up to work today that there would be a production crew in the parking lot. But you never know. You never know with Derb around. You never know what's going to happen.
It's fun. Who knows? Dirt might be in a movie.
He probably is. Everybody will think Vanilla Ice made an appearance again.
Oh dear God.
Oh my
Like,
god.
what? Vanilla Ice is making a comeback? Oh, that's Derb.
Oh my god, that was funny.
Vaughn, were you ever down in Puerto Rico?
No, I didn't make it down to Puerto Rico yet.
Oh man. Oh, that it was just joke after joke after joke about Derb looking like Vanilla Ice last year.
We were in Detroit a few years ago, and this whole group of people thought he was like Vanilla Ice for real. Like he was like taking photos like with this guy's homies. And then later on, Carl, Dr. Blasphemy, he's like, oh, we've got Vanilla Ice in the house. So that only added to this whole group of people thinking he was really Vanilla Ice.
Oh
So
my
the word
god.
got out. Vanilla Ice was at the Renaissance Center in Detroit, and people were like, "No, he's in Vegas right now." So that was fun to watch unfold for the weekend.
Wow.
To be a fly on the wall there.
Damon's got a theory that Derb actually is Vanilla Ice.
I believe it.
He could be. He could
I
be.
believe that.
Has anybody ever seen Vanilla Ice and Derb Morrison in the
No.
same location at the same time?
Nope. I think there was one sighting of that about 15 years ago, but since then, no.
I wonder if he can hear us. Derb, can you hear us?
He walked by and heard it and laughed.
Doon, 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 doon.
Stop. Collaborate and listen. You know what? I wonder if we could get him to make some parody True Tubes videos, like the Derbster's back with a brand new invention.
Yes.
Grab a hold of it tightly. I think there's potential there. I think there's potential.
There is. The tattoo version of Vanilla Ice.
Damon's laughing. He's like, the funny thing is, he looks like young Vanilla Ice, not Vanilla Ice now.
You know,
which is very true.
Oh, Rob, poor Rob. We talk about him way too much.
So he's got to be a vampire Vanilla Ice. Very true. Very, very true.
D-Link in YouTube says, cheers, guys. Love what you're all doing there.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Damon reminded me that I was supposed to flip to my real microphone. Thank you. Okay, one more minute. Time to say thank you, everybody. And
Guys,
actually, you
thank
want to
you
go
very much.
go around the cameras? Let us know how everyone could find you.
Cool. So I'll go first, I guess. You can find me at Instagram at Philly Inc. Or you can go through and go to the Inkwell's website, which is where I work. It's the studio I work at, theinkwelltattoo.com.
Cool. And Bruno, I'm spotlighting you next.
I
think. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're on.
Cool. Yeah, my Instagram is Prismas_art, PRISMAS_art. And yeah, you can write me anytime if you have any questions or anything at all. I'll be happy to help.
Is this painting for sale or?
Maybe. I haven't decided that yet. Probably prints for sure.
Cool.
Prints for sure. Yeah.
And Fawn, you're.
All right. You can find me at fawn_baker on Instagram. You can also find me at fawnbaker.com. Also, be sure to check out tattoocollecting.com. I've got all kinds of links and information on there. That's it. Pretty easy. Back to you, Gabe.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll spotlight myself real quick. And at Spotlight, hold on, almost here now. I'm trying to do two things at once. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is care of the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. It's worth checking out the app from the store or going to www.reinventingthetattoo.com. And tattooers and apprentices, there is a full curriculum that Guy has put decades of experience into with guest artists and these Monday night exercises that are coming up starting tomorrow. Not starting tomorrow, but point being is if you're an artist, you should join reinventingthetattoo.com. And thank you very much. Thanks to all the artists that are working and beaming in and everything. Okay, we'll talk to you tonight at 9:00 for Nick Baxter's oil painting workshop, unless you're going to catch the replay. Jason, I'll let you close it out officially.
Cool. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful night, and I will see you guys later.